podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Hey, Daddy, this a dollar beat.
ThaBoxingvoice.com. No matter what nobody say, man. Spirit, can't nobody fuck with me, man. You know, I can't be fucked with, you know.
Beyonce Productions.
Whether you pay to see me win, or you pay to see me lose, you're gonna pay. Fuck it, the kids still gotta eat. I don't have to watch, you know, any footage of a fighter. I mean, because I'm Floyd Mayweather, everybody gotta watch me. I knew eventually I was gonna have to fight Oscar, but I feel like he was straight up and down, no really no special effects. ThaBoxingvoice.com. How can Canelo have the biggest deal? Your deal is for $300 million, and I made $350 million just in one fight. And you're fighting on the app. ThaBoxingvoice.com. I'm a king, okay? I eat a feast. Every time I eat a feast. And when I get up from the table, I don't give a fuck who get the leftovers. At the end of the day, follow my green print.
Beyonce Productions.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the boxing voice.
Good morning, TBV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another morning edition. It's Saturday. Glorious morning. Thank God we all up. We bringing you a very special treat. Someone that every time I pick up this freaking book continues to motivate me, gives me new ideas, man. I've been up early because I'm excited, man. Everyone on the team has finally finished this book, and we're talking about Dark Horse. It's the fourth book of Adrian Clark, boxing manager, now turned boxing consultant, working for a big network, and just here to, I guess we're going to do a review, man, because I never has a book inspired me so much. Or maybe they have, but I haven't been able to access the author the way that I can with you, man. So first and foremost, good morning to you and my co-host. I would go down the normal intros for each co-host, but why keep you there, waiting? Let's just get right into it, man. I'm going to start with the preface. Before anything, I want them to hear this. It says, I wrote this book to give you a behind-the-scenes glimpse of the highlights and the lowlights in my career. Most of you reading this probably desire a career in sports management. You may also have my same motivation. You love the sport, you want to help professional athletes, and you want to make some money. It's simple, right? Too bad entering the industry isn't that easy. Adrian Clark, good morning. How are you?
I'm great, man. How are you, bro?
Happy to have you, man. Like I said, an inspiration. You're doing your thing. Such a young guy, really accomplishing big dreams, and we're happy to have you and pick your brain.
Appreciate it, man. Even though it's early, I love y'all guys. That's why I'm doing this at 8:30 because I got love for y'all, man. If it was anybody else, I'd be like, no, we doing 2 or 3 o'clock, but y'all are my guys, man. So I appreciate you having me on.
Appreciate it. So, Mario, I'm sure you've done tons of research, and you're a Corpus Christi native, and that is where Adrian went to school at. And as his book says, or not the book, I actually went to watch your videos on YouTube, the editor's cuts. Shout out to Adrian. Check out his YouTube channel on youtube.com/Adrian Clark. And you're giving editor's cuts, and you said that's where it all started. Corpus Christi. You're not from there, but you give all your credit to the start being from Corpus. So, Mario, do you have anything, being the Corpus native?
Well, real quick, I'm going to give my spiel about the book for those that are listening. It's our job to promote, and I'm going to promote it this way. Everybody listening, they're hardcore boxing fans, and everybody listening knows that this sport is very different from other sports in the sense that boxing media can never cover truly what's going on behind the scenes. This book, Dark Horse by Adrian Clark, is a remarkably honest, open look at the sport. If you are going to appreciate anything from this book immediately, it's the candor from Adrian Clark. He is honest. He is open. He admits faults. He admits, it's just such a mature take on the sport. And so, if you're a fan out there or, a listener of ours, but a fan of the sport that has always, wondered what goes on behind the scenes and have heard us talk about stories and things that just were sketchy and just, AC does a great job of showing the sport for what it is, unfiltered. He puts a mirror in front of the sport and shows it in its most gritty ways. But the thing that I love the most is, even though he was a boxing manager at the time, and this is from the perspective of a boxing manager, you get a full front face perspective from fighters, promoters, just the way that everything works. While I honestly believe that your first book was more of like a how-to guide, and I think it's more important for fighters overall to learn from. This book was more like obviously it's nonfiction, but it was more of a fiction type of thing for me, and the stories that sucked me in. The first book was like, oh, I'm learning as I go. And this is, yes, I'm learning as I go, but I'm so much more interested in the life lessons that occurred. So definitely check out the book. But I'll go ahead and start it off. Obviously I love the fact that you talked about Corpus Christi and Jerry, who I'm very familiar with and I covered for, I would say at least like 90% of his professional career. But the one thing that I knew going into the book was the relationship that you had with each other, and interviewing him, and the times that he did say, well, listen, man, Adrian's tripping, he wants me to not, take this fight, or you were honest with him in a way that managers aren't honest with their fighters. Do you think that it's necessary for that type of relationship to occur? And do you feel like that type of relationship that you had with Jerry, where you were able to come at him honestly with things when he was coming up short and maybe even messing up in his career, do you think it's important to have that kind of relationship?
Yeah, it definitely is. But I'll say this, and just kind of start off with like one of my faults. I was too much of AC the homeboy to Jerry. I was more of his homeboy than his manager. We became so cool, man. It's like it was difficult at 24, 20, 25 years old to have that on and off switch of, okay, I know when to strictly be manager, and then I know when to be, his boy. I think we crossed that line so many times to where I don't think Jerry heard me, especially after the Figueroa fight. I think Jerry kind of stopped hearing me as, his rep, and really just started looking at me as his boy. So I feel like you have to have that family type relationship with your client, but at the same time, man, like you have to know that on and off switch of when because I feel like this. I don't feel like I'm to blame for Jerry having 10 losses because Jerry's skill set is extremely high. Mario, from amateurs, like Jerry IQ in the ring is high. It's just there was certain times where I could have pulled the plug on things that Jerry had set up himself based off the things that I taught him how to negotiate for himself. I could have pulled the plug by reaching out to the promoter and said, like, yo, like, he's not taking this fight. Like, find someone else, or kind of doing things behind the scenes to sabotage the fight. But I didn't. I just let Jerry, like, do what he wanted to do. And, like, that hurt his career, man. Like, me just kind of being so lax, saying, yo, if that's what you want to do, then do it. That hurt him in the long run. So I feel like the relationship has to be close, but at the same time, there has to be like that off switch to where you're just strictly representative and not so much of a homeboy or a friend in business.
And for those that don't know, Jerry Belmontes was entering that fight 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He came into the Omar Figueroa fight, and while Jerry possesses a very technical skill, I mean, look, in the amateurs, he was scouted by Golden Boy, Top Rank, every big name you can think of, because his skill set is very high. But he came out and did very well against Omar Figueroa. It was a split decision loss in Omar's favor, but it was an incredible fight. So you feel like that was the friend side of things that kicked in and kind of hurt the situations.
Yeah, especially after that, because we were setting up a rematch with Omar, and we fought Abner Cotto in Corpus. I don't know if you remember that fight.
I do.
Okay, all right. So, man, me and Jerry talked so much, and we kicked it so much before the fight. And I told him, I'm like, yo, this is a setup for Omar fight, like Omar rematch. Omar's gonna be at the fight. Like, he's bringing the belt. like, yo, just like do this so we can get the rematch or whatever. And I can say this openly because Jerry and I are so close. Like, Jerry blamed me after the fight. We were sitting at Whataburger. We didn't want to see anybody after the fight, so we went to Whataburger way across town. And, man, we just, like, sat there, bro, like kind of in silence. But he did. He was like, yo, like, man, you shouldn't have told me, like, this was, like, you know what I'm saying, set up for the rematch and how much money that I was going to make. Like, you shouldn't have told me that shit, man, because that's all I could think about. And I kind of sat there like, the fuck? Like, I thought that would motivate you more than anything, you know what I'm saying, to get it. But he was like, nah, man, like that wasn't cool. Like, you shouldn't have told me that. And I'm like, yo, you know what? He just lost. Like, I'm not gonna go back and forth with it. So I just sat there. We just ate in silence, bro. It was one of the most like eerie situations I've ever been in, but we just sat there, man. Didn't say nothing to each other. And I'm like, yo, like, I got too close. Like, if I kept the professional distance, maybe this wouldn't have went this way. But I felt like I got way too close to him, and I feel like I didn't hurt his career, but in regards to his motivation, how he handled things, I feel like our relationship was probably a little bit too close for comfort. My personal opinion. So,
I just want to jump around, man. I want to cater to the audience. I know we got a lot of heavy Errol Spence fans and Crawford fans, so I guess I'll take you to the chapter in the book that is titled Errol Spence, and we can start with this, and I quote from the book, "I've never accepted a dime from Earl. We've made money together, but I've never put my hand out for a piece of a deal that I've negotiated for him." What does that even mean? Like, if you negotiated it, why wouldn't you put your hand out? It's your money, right?
Nah, it's my money, but like just kind of learning from like the Jerry situation, and Errol was becoming such a big star. When you're in that position, like you think everybody is doing a side deal, everybody's just after you for your money. So I'm like, I know I got my own brand. I'm writing these books, and he's putting his name on my books. So I just figured, like, yo, let's do this, man. Like, I'm gonna need you for certain things, and like, even though you don't need me to negotiate deals for you, like you're using me to negotiate deals for you. So let's just do this. Like, I'm gonna negotiate for you, and I'm not gonna take a dime for you, but when I write a book or when I do a documentary and like I need you to feature, then let's just barter that way. So you keep your cash and I continue to push my brand, but you're associated with my brand. So when Errol fights, like that first book, like he wrote the foreword and his name is on the front of that book. So like sales kind of pick up a little bit. It's not anything substantial, but I noticed that there's more books being ordered after Errol fights. Or when his name is in the media, just based off of his name being on it. So that's my way of making money on my end, but I can still bring deals to the table, like the Everlast deal. That was a very lucrative deal, like for him. I didn't take a dime, like off of that, but we barter pretty well, man. So we're friends more than anything. I wouldn't consider myself. I'm a part of Team Spence, but not with a title. But it's just that barter makes sense to me. I do work for you. You help me out on things. We both make money. That's all love.
Real quick, is that a necessary aspect of managing early in your career? Or do you, I mean, not in your career, but as a manager, do you think that the Cameron Duncans of the world and even at the highest level, that barter system still makes sense?
I believe it makes sense. I mean, Cameron's an older guy, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know how Cameron, you know what I'm saying, does his one.
And that was
too,
just an example, yeah.
Right, yeah. But I mean, I feel like it's necessary, man. Like, you know, you're especially starting off when you're trying to come up, like you're not gonna always be able to charge guys or put your hand out for like, hey, I did this for you, like I expect to get paid from it. Sometimes it's just like, yo, I'm gonna do this for you, and just on the back end, look out for me on something. But that agreement needs to be in place in the beginning. Gotcha. Like, don't do things thinking, okay, yeah, this person's gonna take care of me once it's all said and done. Like, no, you need to have an agreement set place in the beginning, and then once it's understood on both sides, then you move forward. But don't move forward blindly, because that's how dudes get hurt or people get mad. Like, oh man, well, I did this for him, but he didn't look out for me. And I'm like, yo, did y'all talk about it in the beginning? And if y'all didn't talk about it in the beginning, then you just did him a favor.
Yeah.
So I quote, "I will say this though, he'll never pay up for a bet, and he'll invite you to lunch and ask for the bill to be split every time." So I gotta ask, have you had lunch with him after the Mikey Garcia pay-per-view? Because we gotta assume after doing 400,000 pay-per-views, you got some back-end money, champ.
Bruh, if you know EJ, his ass is cheap. He's not paying. No, he ain't paying for nothing. So we bet a few times on whether it be sports games, especially the 49ers. I'm a big 49er fan. He's a Cowboy. So we had bets that he didn't pay up on, and then one time in Vegas, this dude ate all the snacks and like the little thing they got with the chips
fridge,
and the gummy
mini bar.
Bro, he ate all of that shit and did not. Oh, my bad. Can I cuss?
Of course.
Okay,
yeah, we're good.
Yeah, he ate all that shit and it was like $80-something. I'm like, bro, I need my money for that, man. Like, they took it off my card. No, he never.
Oh, that's good.
No, he
that is so good.
I tell you this. One time we went out for Valentine's Day. We took our girls out for Valentine's Day, and this was it 16 or 17? It was one of the years where I didn't have much money, so I still went, and me and my girl went, but I didn't eat. Because he was like, I got this one, and I'm like, wait, what? For the first time, you actually got something? But I'm like, yeah, now you know what? I ain't got no bread, so I'm like, I'm not gonna eat. So my girl ate. But I didn't eat, and he paid for him, my girl, and his girl. But I'm prideful, man. I was like, I'm not gonna eat nothing. I ain't got no bread. He's paying finally. I'm just not gonna eat nothing. I'm gonna suck this one up.
Damn, so you just sat there drinking water, champ?
Yeah. Sat there drinking water. Yeah. But I'm like, yo, he would pay this one time where it's like, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, no, he's definitely frugal to say the least. But yeah, I definitely want my money. He owes me like $300 between the sports bets and then that mini bar in Vegas. He owed me for that, man.
So look, I don't want to hog you up. I'm sure these guys got to jump somewhere else, but I found it fascinating that you orchestrated Spence Crawford meetup. Yeah, I mean, look, for those that don't really understand what that means, the infamous meetup where, Earl is wearing a red sweater, Crawford has that black sweater, and they just meet up and they're talking shit, and he's like, call me. He's like, I called you, check your phone. And, well, Adrian claims he orchestrated that. So we want, obviously, for you to give us your version of why you believe that was all you. And is Top Rank sending you a check? Do you get a percentage of the pay-per-views when this shit finally happens?
Yeah, that went viral, man.
Yeah. But if you watch the clip, like Top Rank is old now, so you have to scroll back. But go to Top Rank's Instagram page, and at the end of the video, like Errol turns and he's like, "Yo, where AC at? Like, where AC at?" Yeah. And he's like, "Yo, I got a text from 3:00. You told me you was gonna be here, and I pulled up." Like, that's pretty much him telling you, even though I felt like a FBI informant. I'm like, bro, you just told everybody where you got the info from. It's like, come on, man. But a fighter that I was helping out, he was in camp with Terrence Crawford. And we were texting. He was like, yo, we about to go to Colorado because Bud is going to Oklahoma to watch the fights. And I was thinking, I'm like, wait, we're not too far from Oklahoma. I'm like, yo, you sure he going to be there? And he was like, yeah, I'm positive he's going to be there. Like, we can't go, but he's going to be there. And I'm like, all right, bet. So I did. I text Errol, and I'm like, yo, Crawford going to be at Oklahoma at a Maurice fight. Yo, we should pull up, like, support Maurice, but also, like, see what happened with Crawford. And usually, like, EJ says no to everything. Like, so I was surprised when he hit me back. Like, all right, bet. Like, let's roll. So we hit the road probably around, like, 8:00. Made it to Oklahoma City in time and came through the back entrance and, like, actually, it was supposed to go down ringside, but because I was sitting ringside and Errol went to his seat and I was with Brad Goodman, but Terrence was sitting next to Brad Goodman, and Terrence was like, yo, forget it. Like, I'm going to go over there. So I don't think they have a video of this, but Terrence walks out to the right to go over, but Errol, at the same time, I was texting him. He's like, yo, I'm about to come over there. So Errol walks out to his right, so they go the opposite way. Like, but Errol couldn't come through the entrance on our side, so he had to walk back. So the first time they meet in front of, like, all the fans or whatever, they were going to try to do it ringside, but the entrance wasn't there. And then once we were leaving the arena, just Terrence happened to come through the back at the perfect time, and it all just went down there. And the one dude that I can't never pronounce or remember his name, but he always has the camera. He happened to be there, man, and that's why it was all. Yeah, that dude. Yeah, it was all documented. But yeah, man, we set that up. We pulled up on. We knew he was gonna be there, so we was like, "Yo, forget it. Let's just pull up." And
Now,
that happened.
Now, were you able to at least? I'm sorry, Alex. Were you able to at least like get Earl some good seats? Did you call you any contacts, or did you have to pay for your own seats?
Like me and Todd Dubois are really cool, man. Like that's my guy, and also Brad Jacobs, who runs a lot of things for Top Rank. Those are my guys. So we were able to get like VIP parking at the arena, and then just like walk in and get like floor seats based off my relationship with Todd and Brad. I was actually standing by Todd while the whole thing was going down. So I wrote in the book like, yo, you owe me for this one, fam. Like you're welcome. Essentially is what I said. But they good people, man. They good people.
I thought it was when I first picked up the book, I was like, I didn't know what I was gonna get into. I didn't know if I was gonna get like a structured like manual kind of book. But you made it such a light read, man, such an enjoyable read. You really take us into your life, and I mean it's crazy. I mean, what were the thoughts going into putting in thinking about what you were gonna put in so much of your intimate moments in boxing and in life in general. I thought that you did a great job in being able to have the reader just, kind of breeze from chapter to chapter. That's how I felt. I felt like I wanted more. And then you had some pretty funny moments. I don't want to spoil anything, you know what I'm saying? But like you're a daring, I'll take a risk type of guy, and I could appreciate, kind of like falling in love with the character, and it's a factual character. It was you, bro. And how much thought did you put into like what moments you were gonna put in, and did you really think like, damn, am I gonna get any backlash for any of this stuff?
I had to. My editor actually, who is not a boxing fan, he's not into boxing, but he called me and he's like, "Look, I don't know this Bernard Hopkins guy, but you're kind of going a little bit too hard on him. Like, you sure you don't want to scale back this chapter?" So the chapter y'all read was kind of like a PG-13, I really like the first time I wrote it, like I really like told some hard truths on things, but my voice was just, it was just way too. He probably damn near could have sued me for defamation of character. So I had to redo that entire chapter. I of course took out a lot. Me writing about my divorce, I took out a lot on that and just made.
That was hard. Whoa! Why? Because for me, I told you. I mean, look, I had you for 3 hours and 20 minutes, so I didn't want to even call you after that long call for a while. I'm like, I got to give him a break. But that was one of the things that, again, when I called you, I was like, bro, I just related to this book so much. So that was one of the things. I went through a divorce, and I feel like boxing had a lot to do with my divorce. But it's like I'm saying, look, I wanted to do this review because there's people out there that probably haven't bought it yet, and they have to understand what Alex just said. It's a very easy read. You breeze through chapters. It's fun, but you're so relatable. My man is a ladies' man. Yo, you don't go to a fight without looking at who's right, huh? I'm telling you, I was having so much fun. I could just all I kept telling myself is like, why didn't I meet this dude 5, 6, 7 years ago, man? We'd have been having so much fun in the boxing world, man. I'm telling you.
Man, yo, some of that was like the situation I explained with, the sister of, a
the
certain
fighter that will not be named.
Right, yeah, like that was.
Wait, so we got, obviously this is a review, so tell the listeners what chapter it is that you're discussing or about to discuss.
It's a recruiting violation. And I say recruiting violation because even though we don't have set rules in the sport of boxing, especially on the management side of things, it's just certain things you just don't do. You don't fraternize with the fighter's, family in regards to being. If I'm a male representative, or I was a male representative, like his mother, his sister, his cousins, like you don't cross that line, man. And like it wasn't my intent to cross that line, yo. It just when people say it just happened, man, I never believed that until I opened that Omni hotel room door, and I'm like, wait a minute, like this not. Yeah, and that was a crazy, crazy situation. But that wasn't what's crazy. Like I wasn't married at that time. We weren't even dating at that time. So when talking about the divorce, I don't want people to think that it's your habits that led to the divorce. Like no, it had nothing to do with what I was doing in the sport of boxing. Like I want to mind the readers. Like I was in the business for 9 years, so I started managing fighters at like 23, 24 years old. So I've been in this for a minute, and Jerry started me off on a plateau of where I got 11-0 guy that was with Top Rank, and now he's with another promotional company. We were taking trips, going to different states, different countries in my early 20s, man. So the part you'll read about my divorce, which I call The End, that has nothing to do with what you'll read in Recruiting Violation or anything else that happened early on with the ladies in the book, man. I kept it separate.
Let me get a real quick question off, because I know it's not going to take long for you to answer this, but I had already known that you had competed and that you had been training for a long time, and we both trained under the same coach for a little while. I think that Coach Richard is one of those guys. He's just a really good guy. Like whether he's training you or not, he's a friend type of man. You know what I mean? Like he's an older person that you can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
But that said, do you think that it's important for a manager, promoter, anyone who's not the fighter but involved in helping the fighter to have some sort of experience in the ring like you had? Is it a must? Do you think that it would be better if boxing transitioned to that heading into the future? Where guys have more. No?
Nah. To be honest, because I mean, I would encourage everybody. Like, if you're looking to get in, like, to be on the business side of things, you'll understand more and have, more empathy for the fighters. If you're in, I got stopped my last fight. Timothy Tipton hit me with a right hook that I didn't see coming, and that literally knocked me into the business. I have more, and I remember vividly walking back to the locker room, bro, trying to figure out what happened. I remember Hollywood, one of the amateur fighters. He was a white dude, and he was young. He was like, "Yo, did you get the license plate of that truck that hit you?" And I'm like, "No, what's he talking about?" And then Richard was like, "Yeah, you got hit pretty hard, man." And even though I didn't hit the canvas, I always remember that moment when I'm helping out fighters, because I'm like, "Yo, I was doing that for free. I was just doing that on the strength." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
As a fighter trying to get better, trying to win a tournament. These dudes as professionals, they're trying to actually have a livelihood based off of this, and to get hit with a shot that you don't see, and it's next thing you know, the bell rings, and it's yo, what happened? I would love everybody to go through that, but to be real, it's not a requirement, man. If you really love the sport and you research the sport and you know about it and you really dedicate yourself to it and make yourself a student of the game, I feel you'll be adequate representative or promoter or whatever it may be. So I don't feel like you have to actually get in the ring. You should, but I don't feel like you need to.
How much of an edge?
Agree.
How much of an edge you think that gave you as a manager, being someone who actually stepped into the ring?
Oh yeah, no, it definitely gave me an edge when I sat down to recruit guys. Even when I sat down and talked with Jerry and his parents, Jerry really brought up to his mom, he fought before. He fought in the Golden Glove tournament. You may not remember him, but he was there. And then even after Jerry, talking to De La Rosa or Willie Monroe, or even having conversations with Errol, at least I can join in on the conversation. As far as in-ring situations, of course I stop when they start talking about things in the pro ranks, but in regards to amateur boxing, I have a voice in that to be heard through the fighters, and I think they respect that. I can sympathize and empathize with those guys as far as training, running the miles, putting in that work. I've been there, so I can relate to fighters better than maybe a Cameron Duncan could. Cameron, of course, can be yo, I can get you to the millions. You know what I'm saying? I've done it before, but from my standpoint, it's look, man, I'm just starting off, but I've been where you've been at. All the work you put in, I've done it before, man, in the amateurs, and we share stories, and that helped me out a lot when I was managing fighters.
Awesome.
Oh, y'all leaving it on me?
Oh yeah, no, I got it. I just didn't know if we were gonna go in order, but listen.
I'm not done. I'm not done because look, we got to make this spicy. Obviously, there's things in this book that need to be mentioned in order to get these sales, man. And the truth is, we need to know. She obviously was gorgeous. That made you cross the line, but like we need a reference. Like who? Lisa Ray. Like how did she look? You know what I mean? Like what is Adrian Clark's type?
Honestly, like off top, Nia Long. If I had to compare to someone, definitely Nia Long.
So she had short hair and it was good hair.
Yeah,
Nia Long got that short good hair.
Yeah, but she was really smooth and seductive, man. Like everything she did was like really sexy. Like, and that's what really, even when I was like, yo, like you can go sleep in the bed, I'll sleep on the couch. Like the whole time I was thinking like, yo, like make a move. No, I really want to represent this kid. I don't know what to do. And then when she hit me with the text, I'm like, yo, I gotta do this, man. I remember getting on the plane and I'm like, yo, I know I lost this kid. Like I know I'm not gonna represent him at this point. But I remember texting her like, yo, like this is on us, right? And she was like, yo, you don't have to worry about me saying anything to my brother. If you guys work together, then like we'll still be cool. But if not, we'll still be cool. So we're still cool. Like we're still cool. I had to hit her up. I had to hit her up before actually. She's one of the few people I actually contacted before putting out the book. And I'm like, yo, like I'm writing something. I don't use your name or whatever. But like I talk about that night, and she's like, I gotta read that first to make sure that you don't embellish anything or you don't make me out to be some monster. I'm like, no. Yeah. So no, I sent it to her, and y'all got the hearts emoji. So I'm like, okay, I must have did a good job if she gave me the hearts emoji. So
that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah. So hopefully go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was done.
Look, I'll be honest with you. This to me was a moment, and that's what did you just say? We need some spicy moments. So this was a spicy moment because I am a football fan. Steven Jackson is somebody that I've drafted on fantasy teams and definitely admired all my fanship years. Now I'll paint the picture. Now you can tell the story if you want, any way you want, but I'll paint the picture. So you were in Vegas, and I'll skip the part. Steven Jackson. Y'all are together in Vegas, talking boxing, talking the business of boxing, and looking to be partners. And he asked you a flat-out question: how much would it take, to get this partnership jumping to help this business move along? And I love the candor and I love the honesty. You said that you threw out a number 150,000 and it was literally off the top of your head. There was no risk assessment. There was no breakdowns, nothing like that. It was just a number.
No
and listen,
business proposal.
No business proposal. Listen, I've been in
that was
similar
one of those
situations
moments
like
for
that.
me too in that book.
Yo, listen, I know. And I've been in this situation before as a freelance writer, not knowing my worth.
Yes.
I've been in the situation with TBV as a publicist or whatever, work in the back end, trying to get sponsorships and stuff, not understanding what the other person needs to know.
Yes.
So you can walk us through the situation, but really what I want to know mostly is knowing what you know now, having the knowledge and the education that you know now. If it goes back in time and you were able to have that knowledge, do you think that partnership could have worked?
No. And I say that because Steven is he's a well-known figure, especially the NFL. So knowing what I know now, like this was really about him. Like that move would have been about him being in the ring on fight night, you know what I'm saying? Him making it like, it was, even though, he was infusing the company or whatever, but he would have wanted to be center stage on everything, man.
The face.
And no, that wasn't the direction I was going. I just wanted the money at the time. Even when I threw out that number, I was thinking in my head, like, man, I'm gonna take a little bit of this and go buy me something cool or whatever. I wasn't in the right mind space at 20-something years old, bro. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just knew, man, I can't remember who it was that told me, like, yo, if anybody ever asks you like what the number is, you always need to have a number, even if you don't know. Like, you need to have a number in your head. So I threw that number out there. But Steven and I met in Dallas. I think Steven was probably hoping to represent Errol Spence or be in his career, because we met at the gym while Errol was working out, and he learned that I was a manager, and we just ended up getting cool. And there's this book that I read called Exit Lever, and it's telling you to like kind of date before you actually get into business with someone. So you really need to get to know that individual before y'all actually do business. So man, Steven and I would go smoke cigars. He would come to Dallas often, and we just would kick it and get to know one another. And then, going to Vegas, that was really about business, but I wasn't prepared. And I blamed a lot on Steven, especially the deal falling apart, because he did say, we were going to be partners. We shook on it. And I felt like his word was his bond. But at the same time, as you read it in the book, like I did, excuse me, I did blame a lot on myself because I wasn't prepared. No business plan, no documents, just contracts I negotiated or whatever. So it wasn't. Steven did the right thing by pulling on the deal. Like that's just me being 100% honest. He did the right thing, but the way he went about it, I definitely lost a lot of respect for him by the way he sent me text messages pulling on the deal. But he could have told me before I left that like, yo, I'm not going to do this because of X, Y, and Z. So, but no, if looking back on it, I'm glad it did not go through because we would have clashed a lot just based off of who I am as an individual and how I get down as far as like representing guys and how he was looking at things. It wouldn't have worked. So I'm glad it kind of crashed and burned.
It's funny how a lot of these guys are interested in that aspect of the sport, boxers and football players and, basketball players. There's even a lot of baseball players in Cuba and Puerto Rico that have started getting involved in young amateur fighters. So it's funny that transition, you know what I mean? Like to me, it's a weird thing. It's almost like they want to be them. You know what I mean? Right. Even though they're making millions and they're in the spotlight and football and basketball is bigger than boxing in America, at least. Right. It's funny how these guys want to have some sort of association with the sport.
Well, they think, having money in this business, like if you come in as a manager, like with a lot of money, that don't mean nothing. I think it was it Brandon Jacobs? I think the Giants running back, he was managing Kendall Holt and a couple other fighters. But if you listen to him talk about...
I just want to interrupt and say, for how long I thought you was him? I always thought I always thought you was Kendall Holt's manager. I promise you. Until the book.
Nah.
Until the book. I'm like, damn, wait, where's the Kendall Holt subject?
Yeah, no. That's I think his name was Brandon Jacobs. He was running back for the Giants.
For the Giants, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like if he's an athlete. He's a pro athlete. I'm not saying that he couldn't make the transition, but if you're still actively playing and you're trying to manage and you're just throwing money at a situation, not knowing the ins and outs, man, like these fighters will get you. You know what I'm saying? So I imagine, I don't know the situation, but I imagine if he had more fighters than just Kendall Holt, guys are asking you, oh man, I need 5,000 here or I need 10,000 here, and he got it or he had it at the time or whatever. So you're thinking, okay, cool, he's gonna come back because he's gonna get a world title fight. It's like, nah, fam, that don't happen with everybody. You really have to know the market value of the fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was Errol Spence asking for $10,000, like in the early points of his career, yeah, you give that up because because you saw from the amateur experience to the Olympics to the first part of his career, that's coming back. But a guy that's not Errol Spence, bro, you do not throw thousands of dollars to that individual. So I think just most guys, they have the money and they think that's going to take care of things for them. Nah, bro, you need the relationships in this joint. That's going to be your key thing, the relationships, not the money.
Adrian, you take us through a lot of fun moments, daring moments, but you also take us through the reality of what it is to start in a business, especially being a young African American, and just want to ask, what exactly is the toughest time that you experienced? Because I know I read moments where money was a big issue, but you'd go all out. You know what I'm saying? Going negative on the bank just to try to make things happen. Right. And what was like one of the toughest times?
You said perception.
Right. Yo, and honestly, just to answer your question, man. It was always like coming back home, and I was telling Nestor via phone, like just kind of talking off the subject, off the record. I was like, yo, I was just making bad decisions with my money, man. It wasn't the point that I wasn't making money from the sport. It's just, early in my career, I was single, and it's like, bro, I wanted the girls, you know what I'm saying? So I'm flying girls places, and I'm getting money, but then it's like, instead of like paying my bills first and taking care of things, it's like, forget all that. Yo, when you trying to fly, you trying to go to Vegas, you trying to go like meet me here, and it's like, yo, I get back home and it's like, damn, like I ain't pay the car lights. I gotta try to probably ask my pops maybe if he could help me out, but it's like I was young and making dumb decisions, man. But it was always tough coming back home because it's like I'm coming back home with little to no money, and I got so much stuff to take care of. And it was like always pressing like the reset button or whatever. So it was always coming back home was the toughest thing. And the toughest time though was when Jerry fought. What's my man's name? He ended up winning the world title. He fights with Golden Boy. I can't remember his name, but he fought him in San Antonio on the Berto undercard. That was my first time interacting with Al Heyman. And if we would have won that fight, it would have set us up for, a pretty solid payday.
Andrew Cancillo.
Yeah,
Andrew Cancillo.
Andrew
Cancillo. That's exactly who it was. And man, I remember Jerry. Night before the fight, man, Jerry looked like a damn skeleton. He always struggled to make weight. I went to his room and I was like, bro, and he was like, yo, I'm not trying to hear it right now, man. I'm gonna go to sleep.
He looked so pale.
Oh my God, bro! And he got
so pale.
For the first 4 rounds, he did good, but then the last 6, I think he got his ass demolished, man. But I remember leaving the arena. We was at AT&T, the Alamo Dome, I believe. I remember leaving the arena, man, and we were getting gas. It was me and my ex-wife. She wasn't my wife at the time; she was my girl. And I remember her rubbing my back, and I'm like, yo, like, we needed this win, man. I got so much to take care of, and I don't know what we're going to do, like, going forward. And she was like, yo, we'll figure it out. But I just remember sitting at the gas station, like, damn, man, like, every time we get close, like, something happens, and it just don't ever, like, and I was telling Ness that, like, every time we got close to where, okay, you get this win, you get the big payday. Every time we got there, man, like, you know what I'm saying, we would drop it in some way, shape, or form. And it's like, damn, we just can't ever get over the hump. So, but that time, after the Cancillo fight, that was probably like my lowest point. One of my lowest points. Like, bro, I don't know what to do right now. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of the lowest points.
So for me, man, because I've been working as long as you've been in the business, I was reading this book like living your life. Living your life. Like, that's why I couldn't even wait for this interview. These guys were reading too slow. We had that 3-hour conversation. I already asked you this. I got so much to talk about. Let me see. It ain't been that long. We ain't take too much there because I got so much to talk. We still ain't touch on Al. But we gonna get to the island, man. Guys, there's a part in this book where this man meets James Prince. First of all, James Prince calls him out the blue. So imagine, put yourself in his shoes, receiving a phone call, number you never heard of, and then it's James Prince at the other end. But, I mean, obviously, I'm going to give you guys a short version. You bring us up to, you tell us the details, like, but he was invited to a private island, right? So he buys his ticket to Brazil. And then, not Brazil, Belize.
Belize.
And then he finds out that when you land in Belize, you got to take another plane to the private island. So he called the trip off, guys. Listen, I'm telling you, and again, everything in the book was so relatable to me. You turned to your parents financially. I would have called mom. Because, I mean, what could have been on the private island outside of everything I'm assuming that you would have wrote?
Honestly, I had already, the well had run dry with my parents, so I couldn't ask them for that amount. I think it was like, what was it, like $1,500? It was expensive. I'm like, wait, the round trip flight was already like $4 something. Like, now you're saying I gotta pay like $1,000 for like a 20-minute flight? Like, I'm not doing.
Damn.
I didn't. I'm like, I'm like, wait a minute.
I'd have took the ferry, champ. I'd have took the ferry.
Honestly, if I hadn't already asked my parents for something like a couple weeks before, a month before, then I definitely would have did it. But I know my pops would have pulled up on me if I'd asked him for that amount, just knowing I just asked him for something. So, but yeah, man, and Jay with communicating with Jay, it's become easier now. But then it's like everything is like one word, or it's like it's not in detail. So I'm like, yo, man, I like to be prepared when I travel. So I'm like, yo, who gonna pick me up from the airport? And he was like, oh yeah, you just call me when you get to the airport, and then I'll have my guy take you to the other plane. And I was like, wait, so what you mean other plane? He was like, yeah, you got to take a flight to the island. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, like that ain't gonna cost nothing, right? And he was like, nah, it's gonna be, I think he said $1,500 or $1,200 or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, cool. But I hung up the phone. I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna be able to do this. So I waited like a day, and I was like, yo, big homie, man, I'm gonna just catch you in Houston, man. Like I'm not gonna be able to make the trip. And Jay was like, yo, all good. But man, there's been so many things with Jay. I think Jay, and I don't equate him with like money, even though he has a lot of. I think Jay's probably a billionaire.
Oh
but,
yeah, for sure.
For sure, like he has to be. But
Absolutely.
but he's so cool and down to earth. I think he thinks everybody has the money that he has. And it's like, nah, fam, it don't go that way. certain things that you do the way you do it, I can't do it that way. It's like, yo,
it's ordinary for him.
Yo, it definitely, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just like, yo, let's you trying to go to Miami? And it's okay, yeah, like bet, like when? We're going tomorrow. I'm like, no, man, like wait.
Oh man.
I gotta look at flights, man. I gotta see how much money I got in the account. It's like so, but no, he's man one of the most thorough. Like he's so thorough, man, and just so down to earth and just so full of knowledge, yo. Jay Prince is, and I couldn't go into too deep detail about all the stories and all the ways that the dude has helped me, man. But I see why he's so powerful and not in just the South, but all over, man. Dude is
revered.
Yeah, man.
But let me ask you though.
People.
Because your book says this is for people that either want to get involved, want to be a manager. So there's people out there that, like me, that would have thought this island meant success. Getting to this island, having this meeting, this time with James Prince would have automatically, gotten me a deal, get me to the next level. So I would have got a credit card. I would have borrowed money. I guess give advice on why not do those things and why, because circling full circle, you still eventually did business with him.
Yeah, like him and I are like me not going to the island didn't mean anything. Like I mean, I've been to Jay's houses. You know what I'm saying? He's been to my crib. My son has been around him. I've been around his family. So the island trip didn't ruin anything, and I didn't think in my head like, oh man, me not going is like that's gonna be it. Like at the end of the day, he reached out to me. You know what I'm saying? We built a relationship off of that. So I figured, okay, well if he called me and we talked about things, then like we're gonna have a relationship going forward. So my advice is this, man. Like there's ways to build relationships with individuals, especially if they're higher ups. There's a way to build relationships, even if you miss an opportunity. Now, don't get me wrong. Like if I felt or thought it was a situation to where, all right, this is like a one in a lifetime, like I have to do this, I would have made it happen. Like I've made many other things happen, but this wasn't a situation to where I felt like it was a make or break. So you have to gauge your situations based off of like your feel of things. And I knew that it wasn't a make or break. It was just I'd never been to a private island before that someone owned. So it would have been a great experience. And I was really amped up, but I just knew like, yo, bro, don't put yourself in a further hole to go spend 2 days with someone. And let's say if I got there and we did nothing but kick it and didn't do business, then I took a vacation for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a great point.
And I'm glad I pulled out and just waited, man, because like I said, we're closer than ever now. And it didn't take me going to the island. So if you're in a situation where an exec reaches out to you, man, like don't put yourself in too deep of a hole. If you're in a couple of $100 or a couple $100, then do your thing, but don't go deep in a hole, bro, just to have a meeting, because you never know what that could turn out to be. So I gauged it right.
Yo, listen, you know how it is, AC. You know what they say about us in Texas in terms of James Prince. Like we all hype him up, or we're all scared to say something. It's not that at all. You're not the first person that's told me. This guy looks out for people. Look, first of all, you did something right to get on his radar. So obviously, credit to you. But for this man to reach out and for this man to continuously give back to to young black people that are trying to make like this man is I mean, it's not about power to me. It's about he's that guy. And unfortunately, people, talk about aspects that have nothing to do with the kind of individual that he is. You know what I mean? And I've met him like once or twice, and he'll never remember me. I know that. But at the end of the day, I know enough about him, through stories that, he is that guy. So, absolutely. I reading it, I never thought it was a make or break. Honestly, it didn't come up like that.
I say the same thing about, and people don't like this, but I say the same thing about Suge Knight. Like, even though I'm cool with Suge's son, but I never got a chance to meet Suge. But like, I feel like people take your faults or things that they read about or rumors, and they blow them up to be bigger than the good things you do. Bro, right. Dr. Dre, Tupac, Snoop, like, he helped out all of these guys, bro. Like, these dudes was under, especially Dre. Dre was under a horrible contract with Ruthless Records. Like, it was Suge. It was Suge that came in. Him, DOC. He was encouraging all those guys, to read your paperwork, see how much you're getting paid. Even with Tupac, I mean, I've been reading up a lot about that situation, and I give, even though he's passed away, but bro, Tupac was a monster. He was, bro, Suge bailed him out of jail. He put a meal up to bail him out of jail in 11 months. Pac did 3 albums, 3 movies, and I think over 15 music videos. I'm not saying that wouldn't have happened if Suge didn't bail him out, but Suge opened up that opportunity for Tupac to really like leave a lasting legacy on everybody, bro. So Suge gets a bad rep just based off of his reputation. I'm like, yo, y'all taking away from all the good and all the legends that, this dude actually helped put out, man. So I don't judge.
He did have everybody
right.
masters on Smash, though. Like, he kept everyone's masters and royalties. But listen, again, spicing things up, man. And again, just showing, I'm not a conceit. It's just we related so much. I fell in love with this book, and hopefully, more people buy it. But when I got into boxing, I made a fantasy in my head that the minute I met Al Heyman, he would hear my story, and I would be the first person ever to interview him on camera. Nobody can tell me he was going to say no to me. I practiced what I would say to him over and over in my head, and then I met him, and that didn't work. And I met him 2 more times, so it was a total of 3, and I never could convince him to give me that quote-unquote interview that was going to get Nesta Gibbs boxing viral, because no one's ever sat down with this guy. But, yeah, man, like, there's the chapter in the book where you discuss Premier Boxing Champions and, not taking your opportunity to talk to him when you met him, and then eventually not being able to do business with him. Any regrets? And just walk us through that point, because I don't know, you guys was just speaking about powerful black men like James Prince, and I'm like, wow, Al is that dude.
Yeah, Al is definitely. I think Suge used to be Al's bodyguard at one point. Like, Al has been around for a minute, man. Yeah. But no regrets on that end, man. I put in my proposal. I talked to a couple of people before I actually, because the offer did come, but it wasn't a formal like on paper offer. It was like, yo, like, you need to get down with what we're doing. It's like, okay, that could mean a lot, but at the time I was in my 20s, and I'm like, yo, I need to have a set title. I need to know exactly what I'm doing. So I sent a proposal that wasn't responded to, and like, that was that. But I don't have any regrets. Like, Al Heyman is successful in so many other things, bro. He's like the godfather of like music promotions. He promoted the Michael Jackson Bad tour. Like, dude is on another level.
But that's more reason to follow up.
But it's like, yo, like just as like Al wrote his story, I don't know how many people helped out Al along the way, but Al has his own story. Jay Prince has his own story. I don't know who helped these guys along the way, but these guys got their own story. Like Adrian Clark has his own story, and like my story is not me like joining on to PBC or joining with Jay Prince. Like, trust me, bro. I said in the book, like, yo, I don't think that I did not think about like Proposition and Jay, like, yo, you got like James Prince Boxing, man. Like, you need a CEO. Like, I don't think that I didn't think that, bro.
For
but
real,
like,
you could have been his guy to find talent.
Yeah, could have been, bro.
Or manage his talent.
But at that point, like, it's even though it's still an illustration, but I'm helping James Prince's story. I'm no longer at that point writing Adrian Clark's story anymore because I won't essentially have a name anymore. They'll just look at me like, oh, well, that's Jay Prince's boy, or that's Jay Prince's guy. And it's like, no, bro, I'm Adrian Clark. So right now I'm Adrian Clark. I'm able to write Dark Horse as Adrian Clark rather than it's like, oh, well, this is a story about a guy that's Jay Prince's protege. Like, no, I never wanted that.
Your own identity.
That's a great point. That's such a great point.
I just feel like if you would have got with PBC, you would have had a little more experience going into this new position as a boxing consultant for a television network, because you would have got hands-on dealing with networks like CBS, Showtime, and Fox.
Let me stop you. Would I? Because Al and Sylvia handle all of that. So I could have been joining on just to kind of be just a pawn on the board. That don't mean that I was going to be a part of any executive meetings, because Al and Sylvia handle all of that.
There's always people in certain jobs, you know what I mean? It's up to us to get those jobs. We have to show that we're more innovative than those dinosaurs that are in those positions.
Yeah, and I feel like I feel like I can have a better reach of doing that by doing things myself rather than getting in. Cause I'm not calling Al a dinosaur, but he's an older guy. You know what I'm saying? So he may have set ways of doing things.
I ain't calling him that either.
I don't want to call the OG a dinosaur, but yeah, he may have his set ways of doing things. So I may have innovative ideas, but if I take him to him and he's like, nah, we're not doing that, then it's like, okay, what am I going to do? Be like, no, you better do. Like, no, I can't do that. But like now with me just building my own name and writing my own story, like, I can do things outside the box or whatever it may be, and it's on me, not on somebody else.
All right, but that's working with him. Hold on, last one. But that's working with him. Why did you never talk to him? Like, imagine he would have let you have a nice 20-minute boxing manager advisor conversation, what you could have soaked in.
Like I said when I first got on this joint, man, like, I grew up, like, my dad's a really strong figure, man, and it's like he really pulls himself up by the bootstrap, and it's like my dad encouraged me to think for myself and do things like for myself. Even though I've had help along the way, I'll never say I didn't have help, but I never once looked at Al Heyman or Jay Prince or any of the other big figures in the sport, and it's like, yo, I want to get in under them. Like, that was never my mindset. It was my mindset, yo, build yourself up to be either on the same plateau as those people or take over to where once they're done or once they pass away, you take over from there. It was never my mindset to get in under someone else and go. And then once I started my professional career, bro, I used to ask for help. I used to reach out to people like, yo, man, can you, give me time of day? Nobody wanted to give me the time of day. So I developed a mindset like, yo, I got to get it myself. So by the time I met these people, I'm already deep in my mindset of, yo, hey, you got to get it, bro. You can't depend on nobody else to give it to you. And I've always had that mindset. So no regrets, bro. No regrets and no looking back and thinking like, man, I should have did that or did not. That's never been my mindset, fam.
Because you were called, the next Al Heyman, but AC's story doesn't end with somebody else being called the next Adrian Clark unless you pave your own way. So right. I fully understand and respect that. I honestly do. And because I was with Ness, we've had these conversations leading up to the book, leading up to this interview, and I'm not gonna lie, I saw his point in taking some of those shots, but yeah. I understand the aspect of wanting to not add to their story, but at the end of the day, not use them, but essentially use them as a resource to help create your own path. So,
I definitely see his point, but like that that's good advice to give to someone else. Like for me and where I was at, I'm like, nah, bro.
You know what's funny?
Like,
You know
I ain't
what's
trying to
funny? No, and you know what's so funny though? Reading the book, because this didn't, to me, I didn't get this from the first book, because the first book to me was like a manual almost, right? And it's a very important read, and it's a very important movement that you started, and the message. But at the end of the day, this book, the parallels between you and S are very serious. And I'll give you one, one of the topics that I wanted to bring up was you, throughout the book, one of the narratives is that I'm not going to say you weren't willing to go someone else's way, or you weren't willing to, get partners or anything like that, but you wanted to create your own thing. And that's been the, case with TBV from the beginning. There was never a point where in the book I'm reading it and I thought, this guy's waiting to cash in. You know what I mean? It was always like you wanting to do it yourself. So in your mind, because I know Ness and we've had these conversations, but in your mind, what is that difference between you doing it yourself and you making it your route, like you talk in the book, versus, trying to make it until you reach a certain level and then kind of cash in with someone else?
Really, man, I think about my legacy, and I think about my son. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm passing things down to my son, man. So boxing, for one, helped develop this mindset of individuality and really just doing things myself, because it was always me on those runs. It was always me in the ring. Like, even though I had the corner, I had to go back to get advice from, but it was always me, like, executing things and then getting into the sport and, like, looking around like, okay, well, let me go ask Cameron Duncan for help. Okay, well, nothing there. Then, okay, let me reset. All right, let me go ask this person for help. And then I always found myself resetting by myself. And I'm like, yo, you know what? I'm going to just get it, like, by myself, man, and I'm not going to sell myself out. Like, I'm going to do right by the fighters, and I'm going to do right by my brand. And, like, once I'm ready to do things, I'll do things when I'm ready. I'm really – people talk about the alpha male or whatever. It's like, bro, like, I know who Adrian Clark is. I'm really centered as an individual, and I know when to move, and I know when not to move. Not saying I'm always right, because I'm definitely not, but I think I have a good feel – like, for things. Me and Ness, we stayed on the phone for 3 hours. I never talked to another man for 3 hours on the telephone. Like, the max for me is an hour. But I did, like, he asked questions where it's like me. If I meet someone, like, I kind of don't, I respect who they are, but I don't care who they are. I'm gonna ask you the first thing that's on my mind. If it comes off brash or whatever, I don't mean no disrespect. That's just how I feel. And he asked me a question, and we weren't on FaceTime, so he couldn't see my reaction. But I kind of smiled, like, "Yo, that's some shit I would ask someone, like, just off rip."
Yeah.
And I wasn't disrespected. I wasn't taken back by it. It's like, yo, I like that. But we stayed on the phone for 3 hours because I could see how we were similar. Listening to some of his stories and things that he went through, I'm like, yo, him and I are alike. I don't know him too deeply, like, at this moment, but I know him well enough to know, yo, we're similar. So I'll put in this time and not think that, yo, I got something else to do or this is a waste of time. Like, no, I see the similarities between us. And it was good. It was worth the 3 hours, man. But man, I do things because, not to sound pompous, but I do things because I want to, like, not because I'm weighing on someone else or what. Like, bro, if I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be because I want to do. I write these books because I want to, not because someone is pressing me or whatever it may be. So I'm really headstrong, man. I'm really headstrong.
So I guess we talked about Prince, but the title is like, or the chapter is Boss Talk, and again, I don't know, man. The way you wrote it, I guess even the titles of the chapters, they really they drive you in, man, because you're like, wait, Boss Talk. Wait a minute, who he talking to, and then you find out it's James Prince. So again, if you could just give us, I guess, your recollection of that time, really quick, guys. What happened was, I think you're setting up a deal with James Prince and EJ, and you're bringing Prince to the fight, and you got to rely on Earl Spence Jr. to get you these tickets. And it was funny to me because I call fighters 24/7, and they're horrible. Like, they'll get back to you when they want to, and you were under pressure, and I could just imagine having James Prince and having to like be his chaperone and bring him to some place that you don't have access to and only could get access to through this fighter who's, by the way, having the biggest fight of his career because somehow Adrian Clark is the guy that's bringing James Prince to watch Errol Spence live during the Mikey Garcia fight. So, yeah, man, boss talk, man. Tell us about that moment. And obviously, you said, and I quote, "I appreciate the big homie taking me under his wing and becoming the mentor that I never had." And that for me was just like, wow. You know what I mean? Someone on that level.
It's like you said in the beginning, why couldn't I meet this guy 5-6 years ago? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but that day for exactly 1 hour, I was scared shitless because I wasn't blowing up EJ's phone, but like the 2 times I called him, like he didn't pick up. And I called Jay just to gauge like where he was at. And he was like, I was like, yo, what you doing, big homie? He was like, shit, man, I'm excited for this fight. And I'm like, yo, I didn't want to tell him that I couldn't get EJ on the phone. So I'm like, you know what? Like, yo, just chill. Like, it's going to work out. And I kept telling him, I said, yo, it's going to work out. It's going to work out. But yo, for at least like probably about 4 or 5 hours, man, I couldn't get a hold of EJ. And like Derek was doing his own thing, so Derek wasn't with him. I'm like, bro, this is gonna be a disaster if I gotta call back Jay and be like, yo, man, I know you was excited to get to the fight, but yo, we're not gonna be able to go. I'm not saying he was going like, you know what I'm saying, call his dudes on me or whatever, but I didn't want to we had talked so much about the fight, and you know what I'm saying, I told him that I would make sure he was good. But I remember probably around like 5 o'clock, EJ calling me, and he was like, man, what the hell you want? And I'm like, bro, I was like, yo, you don't know how good it is to hear your voice right now. But I was like, yo, we good for the night? And he was like, yeah, bro. He was like, yo, I left you some tickets.
Nah.
He said, got no tickets.
Hold up.
No. The joke was this. Like, he was saying, like, no, like, I ain't got nothing for you.
No, I know. I want to read the exact quote because obviously you don't recall it. So he says, and I quote, EJ called me around 4 p.m. as I was leaving the mall. He said his first words were, I ain't got no motherfucking tickets, bro. So I know right there your heart dropped because here you are trying to impress James Prince and he ain't got no tickets. Oh, man. That was funny to me.
Bro, like I was that night, man, was really magical, and to see like to go like going to the arena, it was dark, bro, but people were seeing Jay, and like it was dudes like bowing to him, man. Like he couldn't walk 10 steps without somebody seeing them like, hey man, hey Jay, like dudes, like grown ass men like bowing to this dude.
Yeah.
But just to be there as like his like shadow and like walking to the arena, walking into his seats or whatever, just to see it. It was really like magical. That
clout goes to you too a little bit in that kind of sense, no? In that scenario, like it's like I'm here and that's it.
Yeah, but I really didn't even see it that way. I was really I was just there, and it was kind of like it was like a movie, just walking with him and just seeing how people reacted to him, man, and how much praise he got from just all different races, bro. It was white people, black people, Hispanic people. Everybody was just showing this dude love all the way until he got to his seat. It took us like 30 minutes, bro, to get in, to get seated, because everybody just was stopping him, man, just showing their respect. So for me, it was just really magical to see. And it's like, I think that's probably like one of the one times it's like, yo, like I want to be that. Like that's something I want. That's something I want to feel. Because it was really dope, man. But yeah, I was early that day, bro. I was nervous. I drove back. I live damn near an hour from the stadium, and I'm driving back and forth to try to see like did he leave the tickets at will call, and they come to find out he didn't leave the tickets at will call. He had them himself. Like it was stressful, man. But it turned out a beautiful night, man. Really beautiful night.
Another one. Man. Look, I don't know how much you want to give away and how long you want to do this, because
you good, man. Y'all know when to cut it off, man.
Nah, bro, I could talk about this book forever, bro. We talking right now. It's what is it? It's titled. The chapter's called "Trust Your Gut," but it should have been lightweight. And I quote, at the restaurant, I was no good. The biggest mistake I made other than eating edible was stepping outside without someone with me. I went to sit in the truck while everyone else ate, and shit got paranormal. I heard voices, strange shapes, demon faces. Things hit another level when I saw my deceased grandmother standing outside the truck. Then I glanced behind me and saw my late brother in the back seat. This is the only subject I had an issue. I said, how this man get this reaction off of weed?
Yo, what's crazy?
Wait. When I called them, y'all, I said, bro, listen, somebody laced their weed, okay? Weed don't do that to you.
Yeah, no, and at the end of the day, bro, it wasn't, because actually the guy that was with me, he's a former NFL player. I didn't go into detail in the book because I didn't want to put his story out there, but he's a former NFL guy. And he was actually at my crib yesterday. We were talking about this situation, and he was like, "Yeah, bro." He was like, "It had to be laced with something." He was like, "I don't know if it was shrooms or what, man." But he was like, "Yeah, you don't get that reaction from weed." But yeah, bro, that night, man, was crazy. And that's one of the stories where I couldn't tell everything, because that's actually something bigger happened like that night. It's just I can't talk about like what all happened. But yeah, man, I had an edible. I was in California. And there were so many signs for me to just stay put where I was at, because I was out there to see Daniel Franco. Y'all remember the Rock Nation fighter? So the night before, me and Jay Prince had went to Jay-Z concert. I had the time of my life at Hove concert, man. I stood up the entire time, rapping the entire time. And I was supposed to meet Jay that night, and he had jumped a flight to Houston right after the show. And Jay was like asking me, "Do I want to come to Houston?" And I'm like, "Nah, I got to go to Cali to meet with Daniel Franco." And I remember meeting with Daniel Franco, and really cool kid, man. His dad was really cool, and they had a really interesting story. And I was trying to see how I could help and how protect yourself at all times, be a part of that story. That wasn't the direction they were looking to go, but it was still good to go out there and meet with him. But I had a choice, man, to stay at a hotel or to get up with my guy that was, you know what I'm saying, NFL. And, man, made a choice to go with my dude, man, and things just went south, bro.
Yo. Same subject, lightweight, but really is trust your gut. He says, "Now I'm neither a smoker nor a doper." Oh my God. The joint preparation process disgusts me. Another guy must wet the rolling paper with saliva. I'm opposed to that germ exchange on principle. Yo, bro. So there's a thing called cone artists out there, man. No one got to touch nothing, all right? You just packing these days. It's real simple.
Talking spliffs.
You know what I mean? Real simple.
Yeah. I didn't see that, bro. What I was watching, I'm like, bro, there's no way I'm hitting that. Y'all give me something else.
Oh man, yo, perfect segue. No way I'm hitting that should have been the title of this chapter, called "The Promoters." Yo. If Zab thinks you was sleeping with Jolene, I'm going to have to believe Zab, bro. What's really going on? Jolene Mazzone from main events, and I know her well.
Yeah. That's my heart, yo. Like, Jolene is like my sister. If it was anybody that I would try to actually be with.
Except the industry thinks she's your girl.
Yeah, because, like, I'm literally, like, when I'm at fights with Jolene, like, I'm with her everywhere, bro. I go with Jolene. She'll go to the restroom. I'll sit outside and just wait for her to come back out. Like, we big kick it, man. When I'm in Jersey or in New York, like, she'll come to the hotel. We'll kick it. I've learned a lot from Jolene, but she's just so real. Like, if it was anybody from main events that I would be with, of course, everybody knows it's Kathy Duva. I'm in love with Kathy Duva. So, but no, Jolene and I are just, like, we're just really cool, man, and we're just really 100. With each other. She's more of a sister, you know what I'm saying, than that. But Zab really did. Zab was like, I remember him telling his homeboys, like, yo, like, he must don't know she got a lot of brothers. I'm like, wait a minute, like, I think he think I'm her dude or whatever it may be. But the heavyweight was there too. I think his name Dominique Gwynn. He was there.
Oh yeah,
and he was mad cool. And I explained to him like, yo, like, me and Jolene, we just cool, man. He's like, oh no, I know, man. Zab just be on 100, man. So no, me and Jolene we're just cool, man. Me and Kathy though. Kathy, if you listening, I'm here. I'm available now, man.
I highlighted that part in the book. But I can't find it. What was it that she said to you personally when you brought it up to her face to face? You was like, I wanted to kiss you that night, and she said she answered you, right?
Yeah. No, it was just recent when we went to they have Evan Holyfield So we were all at this black tie in Dallas. Jolene, myself, Kathy, Evander, and Evan's mom, Toy, and we had a table, whatever. So after the fight, Evan had a good win, but Kathy, Jolene, and myself was sitting down having drinks, and I was telling Kathy like, "Yo, that night in FAR, Jerry had a fight. Matter of fact, he fought against a kid from Puerto Rico, I believe, or the Dominican, and it was his first fight on Univision." and we were all in FAR, and we went out that night after Jerry won. We went to Puncho's, and everybody was drinking. Jolene was drinking, Kathy was drinking, just all telling stories. And man, I'm just looking at Kathy. I'm like, damn, like, she's gorgeous. Like, I've seen her before on TV, but here she is in front of me. Like, this little redhead chick is gorgeous, man. So leaving the restaurant, me and Kathy holding hands, just talking or whatever, and I'm walking her to their car. And I had in my mind, man, if I was gonna kiss her, like that was my mindset. Like, I was gonna kiss her. Derek James was training Jerry at the time, and Derek older, so he saw what was going on. So I was about to ruin my career trying to kiss Kathy Duva. So Derek grabs me before I get to the car. I was like, "Boy, he said, some words. Get your ass over here." And I told Kathy like, "Yo, I was going to kiss you that night." And pretty much in so many words, she was like, "Oh yeah, like I would have slapped the shit out of you if you would have kissed me, that night." So Kathy's she's my heart too, though. So it's all love. I'm glad I didn't kiss her though. That would have been the end of my career probably before it started if I had kissed her. So yeah, it's all love.
Yo, and real quick, just in case you're joining us live on or late on YouTube, you can get interviews like this along with Border Wars and things by going to patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice, becoming a Patreon member, and you can expect interviews like this daily. We do daily morning shows twice on Monday, twice on Tuesday, twice on Thursday, and twice on Sunday. We offer Ask a Fighter, promoter, manager, the guys we have on. So if you were a Patreon, guess what? You could have asked Adrian Clark a question today. So, but we are talking to Adrian Clark about his book, Dark Horse, which is available and out now for purchase through Amazon. The first book too, the guys haven't read it, so I don't want to, jump into it or anything, but it's a very, very important book. Protect yourself at all times. It was a movement. It's a theology.
Well, it's going to be a television series now, so we are going to get into that because you're going to be taking the book into TV now, correct?
Yeah. So actually, Protect Yourself at All Times is my second book. And it's a guide for professional boxers, man. So as you guys know, but maybe audience members don't know, like with boxing, there is no association. Like there's very little regulations and rules in this joint. It's like the Wild Wild West is the term that we often use.
No governing body.
None. Yeah, there's no union for the fighters. There's no PA like there is in the NBA and other major sports. So you think about a kid that's fighting amateur right now. Once he makes his decision to go pro, like he gets a license, but like there's no education that comes with that license. There's no transitional process to help you understand what it is to be a professional boxer and what Protect Yourself at All Times. The book, it's a guide. It's a manual. Like I love saying what Biggie said on 10 Crack Commandments. It's a step-by-step booklet for you to get. You know what I'm saying? And it's to keep you updated and keep you informed on the nature of the business, paying your taxes, excuse me, planning for retirement, knowing what you're signing, understanding your money. Like those are the different chapters that's in the book to help you understand and transition from amateur to pro. And then even with like transitioning from, being a pro fighter to retirement, that's something that the TV show is really going to talk a lot on because there's not much said about that process, man. It's like you spend 10, 15 years of your life dedicating yourself to the sport. And then like once it's over with, it's over with. Your last check from boxing will be the last check you receive like from boxing. It's not like the NBA or the other major associations to where there's a pension in play and you get paid the rest of your life for being a part of that particular association. With boxing, you really have to make a transition based off of things you planned years ago, put in place years ago. So Protect Yourself at All Times is important for all fighters, whether you're an amateur fighter or a pro fighter. I have a book that's available on Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. I have a podcast that I did partnered with Everlast, and it's just it's not a weekly thing. It's just a one-time thing that I did. I have a video blog partner with Everlast, and now I have a network deal, a television network deal with Fight Network, which we're going to go into production for the TV show after this. Everything is done with coronavirus, but I'm actually going to show on camera. It's a 7-part series, so we're really going to get down to a lot of behind the scenes things and things you guys probably don't know about or never seen before. We'll put on camera, and there'll be features from Jarrell Big Baby Miller, Derek James. You guys will see a report in the next couple of days that Everlast is coming on to be the primary sponsor for the show. So we got some big things going on at the Fight Network, man, and it starts for me with protect yourself at all times. I feel like all fighters, amateur and pro, need to know about protect yourself at all times.
But Adrian,
so it's in the developmental stage, correct?
Yeah, like if this thing wouldn't have hit, we would have already been done.
Got you.
Production, man. But this thing hit a
That's
little bit
exactly
before.
what I wanted to know.
So
it hit. This thing hit before like the deal was like announced, and so we had to push back production. So by the way we're going, production will probably start in June. And actually, the first 2 episodes will be filmed in Corpus, bro. Coming to Corpus.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, coming to Corpus, and
awesome.
then LA, and then Dallas, and probably New York. So yeah, I'll be coming back to Corpus.
Well, please hit me up, man. Please
of course, bro. Of course.
That's awesome.
So, man, y'all ain't let me cut y'all off. I was gonna talk about this network deal here. Oh yes. So I know protect yourself at all times is your baby, so don't take any offense, but how is that gonna appeal to the masses? I mean, at the end of the day, you're on a network. Don't you got to bring in views? Like, protect yourself at all time is only for fighters. Like, we don't got that many fighters in the world to make it.
It's crazy. I'm sorry. I really just wanted to say something 2 seconds style. Like, I was gonna say, not only the fighters. Like, I was thinking as a coach, like maybe I want to read the book and like, because then I have more advice to offer my fighters. So I was looking at it not just the book.
Well, I'm thinking television series. Like, are you just taking your baby into TV because you are in a position of power, or how is this? Show gonna make views for your network and keep you in that position of power.
Yeah, definitely in the position of power. But Ness, like you pay taxes, right?
Yeah,
You wanna understand your money better?
Yeah.
In regards to contracts, like before even though like on the iPhone thing, it's so many words or whatever, you probably don't read every word, but before you sign something, you read through that contract, right?
Hell, not for iPhone, not terms and use of YouTube, none of those free apps, Instagram, none of that, no.
All right, so
he doesn't at all.
All right, so let me make this example. So Boxing Voice, if someone comes to the table like, yo, we want to have this entity a part of our portfolio, and they have a contract for you, you're going to read that contract, right?
Oh, well, that's different, of course.
Okay, so yeah, something more personal to you. You'll read that contract. In regards to retirement, even though you feel like you're so far away from like retiring from anything, but like right now, like with the money you make or the moves you make, you're essentially planning for retirement, right?
Yes.
So everything to do with protect yourself at all times, it relates. It's for fighters, but it relates to someone like you because the exact same things I'm telling the fighters are things that apply to you in your everyday life. Like, so it translates. So although you may not directly relate to, you will, but just say just like someone average Joe, a casual fan is what we call them. Like, they may think on the surface like, this doesn't apply to me because it's boxing, but the things that I'm talking about, the way that we're going to structure the 7-part series, oh no, you're going to relate to it because it's everything to do with what you do in your everyday life, man. So the way it's going to be done is going to be dope.
Let me help him out. Let me help him out real quick.
Hold on, one thing.
Go ahead.
You're not just casting your net in the boxing pool. Like, I'm just trying to, gauge numbers. Like, are you expecting more exposure than a normal boxing only show, or do you think this is gonna go and get out of the genre of just boxing?
Yeah, that's the aim. Like, that's the aim. Like, when I started Protect Yourself at All Times, like going back to the book a little bit, like before me and Bernard Hopkins talked, I had wrote out on a dry erase board like all the topics I wanted to talk about in a symposium, and I'm looking at the chapters, and I'm like, damn, this ain't just for fighters, bro. All of this applies to everyone. If you're a citizen, whether it be the United States or whatever country, all of this applies to you, because everything that a fighter has to do, aside from fight, everything that they have to do, we have to do as quote unquote law-abiding citizens, bro. So definitely boxing will always be the base. Boxing will always be my base, because that's what I came up in, and that's what I did, and that's what I did for 9 years. And now on the network side of things, boxing will always be the base. But protect yourself at all times is going to be something that I see as universal. It's going to be for everybody, but boxing will always be the base. Just like boxing is a metaphor for life, so to speak. Like, it's a fight. It's a fight for everybody. We all have some type of fight that we're going through, and it's synonymous to the sport of boxing, man. So yeah, I'm looking to go big with this thing, not just something that's just for boxing.
You know, I can help him out right here real quick, because I do understand, even though I don't, Ness, I don't think is familiar with the format of the book. If he was, I do understand, because for me, it's a little, like, how does that transition into a, show? But I'm sure that you have a hold on that. But I'll tell you what the book did for me, Ness, and this might be able to help you. Look, I'm a writer. I've been covering as a journalist the sport of boxing, but I'm a fiction writer for trade, and I take a lot of freelance work. After reading the book, what I took away from the book, even though this wasn't distinctive in the book, what I took away is I realized that I had been doing freelance this whole time, and I had been getting this money, and I had been getting it a certain way, and that was it. That was it. I record what I record, and that's it. What I ended up doing after reading this book is turning in a DBA, and then I turned in a sole propriety bank account, and I started having my money work for me. That was one of the biggest moves I've ever made in my life, and I'm almost a little embarrassed that I had reached out to you about this, and I wish. I can't hate on Ness, because he did tell us about the TV deal. I just, unfortunately, I didn't know it was going to come up the way it was going to come up. So I really wish I would have taken the time to get the book and actually go through the parts that helped me get to this point. But I do owe you a huge debt of gratitude, AC, because it launched a certain and I've made moves since then that it was a catapult. It was a catapult. That's what the book was for me. And that had nothing to do as a fighter. And it helped me understand the sport as a journalist, and it helped me understand what was going on with fighters and the pitfalls for fighters. But personally, for me, thinking about what I do to make money and how I make money and what it does when it's just sitting in a savings account or a checking account, not doing nothing, as opposed to me turning myself into a business.
Right.
And that is ultimately what I took away. So while I can't necessarily see, because, it's not my vision, while I can't necessarily see how it transitions just based on the book, I'm sure it's not just like that, but I can see the mass appeal because it appealed to me, and I'm not a fighter. So
right. I appreciate that, fam. I appreciate that.
So I just want to read something from a article that obviously was published on April 1st. But it isn't April Fool's. But it's obvious, it's kind of like a press release about your new position. So, and I quote, Adrian Clark has joined the organization as a consultant to develop original programming and strategic partnerships with a focus on professional and amateur boxing content, as well as supporting social media and community growth across Fight Network's digital and social platforms. So, what other than Protect Yourself at All Time do you have planned in terms of programming, and what could we look forward to in terms of professional and amateur boxing content? What does amateur boxing content mean?
That was actually, and I let those guys know coming in, like, we really have to put a spotlight and focal point on amateur boxing, because like those guys are the champions of tomorrow. And I feel like even though USA Boxing does a solid job of organizing things and putting things together, I feel like from from a media standpoint, there could be a better stronghold or just a better outlet for amateur boxing. So before I made the move over, I'm like, yo, I just don't want this to be amateur, but I don't want this just to be professional boxing. I actually want to do some work in amateur boxing. So I can't. I mean, some of the things that we're going to roll out is going to be probably next week or the week after that. I don't want to speak too deeply about some of the content that we're putting out on the Fight Network, but we are looking to do something in the podcast structure. You never know how that thing is going to work out. It's hit or miss. You guys are number one on iTunes, of course. So, but I want to do something podcast based, and I want to do something in the debate show side of things. First Take has amazing ratings. I mean, it's unmatched, and everyone loves a good debate. Everyone loves to have an opinion and be heard. And I feel like having a debate show is going to be really big for the Fight Network to bring in. So there's just a few things that I have up my sleeve, and again, not want to put too much out there because. Yeah, I'm kind of like a magician. Sometimes I'll tell you about it, but I don't want to show you exactly what the trick is. But Fight Network is traditionally known as like the MMA channel. People look at it, and we still have a huge MMA backing, or not backing, but audience on Instagram. Like I look at some of the posts we put up, and like we put up a post of Errol Spence, and like it didn't really get many likes, but we put up a post comparing, I think, McGregor and some other fighter, and like it got like 7,000 likes, and it's like, wait, okay, so we're really MMA heavy on IG, but I'm like, yo, like respect, but
Connor's he's like he's probably the top guy though, man. He's gonna get those views.
Right.
Yeah, but seven is a big number.
Right, you know what I'm saying. But what I'm looking to do, because like we don't, besides like the diary based things and the behind the scenes things we kind of have on MMA fighters, like Boxing Network is not looking to go further into the MMA route. We don't have MMA fights anymore on the network. So I'm trying to implement, and of course it's a snowball process, but implement more boxing and get more boxing fanatics to recognize the Fight Network is somewhere that you can actually get good original content. But right now it's really MMA heavy, man. Super MMA heavy.
So do you have a marketing budget, or do they handle the marketing? Because like you said, it's MMA heavy, so you need to cast the net to attract boxing fans. That's going to cost money. You can't just put out good content without telling people there's content there.
Of course. Like I said, man, I got something up my sleeve, man, that is going to appease to everybody. And I wouldn't have embarked on this journey if I felt like this shit ain't gonna work, or no, we don't have the money for it.
No. Well, I meant that question like, do they allow you to handle the promotion or marketing of it, or are they saying no, you create the content and we'll put it out there?
Yeah, no, man. I have just as I do things in my every day. We talked about it before, like me just having control of things. It's the same thing, man. So again, wouldn't have embarked on it if I didn't. I know boxing. Not saying that they don't know boxing like I do. I come from the industry. You know what I'm saying? And Lynn Asper is the guy that owns everything. He just bought Mark Cuban's station, Access Television. He owns Impact Wrestling, which is on Access Television now, but was a part of the Fight Network. Like Lynn is really wealthy guy, but he's like a media mogul. But when we first talked, he was really just like candid, like, yo, I'm not a boxing guy. Crazy story. He was gonna buy Golden Boy Promotions. Like he was in talks to buy Golden Boy Promotions at one point, but ended up like shying away from it. But he admits, like, yo, I don't know the industry, so bringing me on, it's like, yo, I expect you to not only deliver certain things, but create things that is going to work. So it's not like I got to go, I think of something and I got to go ask Lynn, like, hey, man, we should, like, no, like, I've got free reign to do what makes sense for the network.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
that is so awesome. Hey, yo, if he's responsible for the way Impact started to be presented, then he deserves a lot of credit, because before they ended up on the network, I mean, Axis fell into that. I'm sorry?
You said Impact, but you meant Fight
Yes,
Network.
Impact.
No,
No,
Fight Network.
He owns Impact Wrestling. Like Impact.
Oh, he
Impact.
does own it. He owns it outright. Oh my God! Wow. Yo, he has turned that thing around. I'm a huge wrestling guy, and that promotion has turned around in a massive way from 10 years ago. I mean, it is presented so well. The production, everything about it is.
Bro, when I went to a show in Dallas. They had a pay-per-view show in Dallas.
Oh yes.
And honestly, when I was going, I was like, exactly. And I was like, yo, man, I ain't been to a wrestling match since WWF back in the day. And I'm like, yo, they ain't WWE. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm about to get myself into. And they were really recruiting me at the time. So like, yo, you got to come to the show. And I'm like, I got to go to this damn show. Yo, it blew me away. It's amazing. The production of it was crazy. It was amazing. And I'm like, yo, this ain't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be some low level, you know what I'm saying, low budget shit. Like, nah, man.
It's entertaining.
Oh, bro, it's
Tessa
crazy.
won. Yo, they had the first ever female to win the #1 championship in a sport, in a wrestling organization. I mean, this is like Hulk Hogan getting beaten by Ronda Rousey. You know, it was a huge moment in honestly, not just wrestling. I think we're going to look back in the annals of history, and that's going to be one of the moments that people point to because that was such a huge night. But yeah, that guy is a genius. That guy's a genius because he's really put it together.
Yeah, I definitely won't. He's definitely not Vince McMahon, but Lynn is. You know, he's a sharp dude, man, and I feel like I was actually gonna say no. I was going into the meeting with a mindset of no, man. I'm not going. I'm good with where I'm at. I just sold my company. I like pretty much doing consulting work for a new company. I'm like, yo, I'm good. But after I met with him and he kind of gave me his vision and like wanted to implement boxing into it, like I saw it. Like I saw what he wanted to do, and I saw where I could get in and really take my agenda and further push it and add in more things that I believe make sense. So I believe, I mean, we're talking about this in the early stages now, but man, you give it end of this year when things get back to normal, people are going to identify with Fight Network as a place where you can get amazing boxing content, man. So I'm glad to be the forefront of all of that.
It's awesome.
So it's not available in America? Like because, you know, does I think you said Axis, was it?
Axis is based in the U.S. It's in Los Angeles.
So that's going to make it does that make it accessible to us now? Because I've been Googling here in the background, and I can't find it on Xfinity, which is Comcast for us.
Yeah, I know it's on Vudu. I know it's on Vudu because I watch it on Vudu. I actually watch the Fight Network pretty often. You know, they have their channel on Vudu, and it's accessible that way.
Yeah, but I will say this, and it's something that I've talked about on conference calls. I'm like, yo, I'm not really a big TV guy, but like just looking at my TV now, bro, if it takes me longer than 2 minutes to try to find something, I'm no longer interested. I have to be able to if I got to download it, that's one thing, but like I want to be able to easily find it. And I'm like, yo, right now, yeah, exactly. And I'm like, yo, I have Apple TV and I have Roku, but I don't know the workings of them. So like right now, it's a perfect time with everything being down to where, okay, like we really got to make. So, like, we got to make this thing easy for people to subscribe to or people to get access to, because if not,
wait a minute. So it's subscription then?
Yeah, like, so on Apple TV, if you go to Apple TV, I did it the other day. You go to Apple TV, like, there's a way that you can subscribe to the Fight Network, like television, like station or whatever, and it gives you. They want you to go to the website fightnetwork.com, which, I mean, it still gives you the same content, but of course, with us doing everything as far as like television goes. With Apple Television and Roku, like it's available on there. But again, I feel like it needs to be easier access. Like I feel it's a little bit too complicated.
Could you do it on the old generation Apple TVs or just the new ones? Because I know that like some of the features are different now.
Different, right. And that's something that we spoke about that. And it's like, yo, is it? It's like Xbox One and then like the original Xbox. Can I still play the same games on like the Xbox One? It's like, so just trying to get all of that. Like I said, more easier access for fans to subscribe to. Anything that's complicated, man, people are turning off or just going in a different direction. So it's not like we're reconstructing the Fight Network, but there's a lot of newness and like kind of like a little bit of renovation that's going on with how we're looking to kick back out once this thing gets up and running, man. But it's available now. But as far as like the process to subscribe, man, I feel like this is too difficult.
So listen, you're like, you ran for president, you got your presidency. So like, how long is your term? Because you talk a good game, and it's just the beginning of your term. So we need to see how long you're allotted to actually bring these things to fruition. Because, look, man, I mean, we've had hella execs come on here and say, they're gonna change boxing or they're gonna make boxing better, and all I've seen is Espinosa's budget dwindle. We see Fox ain't really giving us much of nothing. ESPN, all their big fights are pay-per-view. Everyone's big fight is pay-per-view. So, like, how long do you have to put what you envision into play? Like, how long are you in business for?
Well, the hope of it is, I mean, even though my contract that I signed is a yearly based contract, man, but like protect yourself at all times is my baby, and I feel like with the Fight Network, this is our home for the foreseeable future, man. So I'm not a guy that I don't like bouncing around on things unless it just makes like total sense. So I'm not promising, we're gonna change boxing and we're gonna put on the best live fights. But no, I didn't. Actually, the conversation was, we should come out the gate with live fights. And I'm like, hell no. To compete with who? ESPN? To compete with Fox? To compete with... No, we're not putting out... If I'm going to be a part of it...
Damn, but you ain't even hit a budget?
It's not even the point of hearing the budget. Like, even if we have an extravagant budget, what fighter are we going to put on to compete with PBC, with ESPN? That's not. I'm about longevity, Ness, and I'm like, yo, if this shit is really gonna last, and we're really gonna go about this thing the right way, we're not leading with our front foot with live fights that are gonna. If we would have did a fight that we put, let's say, $1 million into, but our main event fighter was, and I'm not like taking shots at him or whatever. I think he's a great fighter, but if our main event fighter was Oceanique Foster, I'm sorry if I pronounce his name wrong, but if like that's our main event. Like, y'all are tearing me apart on the Boxing Voice come Monday morning.
I don't know if we tearing you apart. It all depends, because everybody got their own lane, but I get what you're saying. I'm not going to dive you into a hypothetical conversation. I get what you're saying. Yeah. We do have a lot of questions from the people, so I don't know if you still have time. We'll just go straight to that, because we had a little post called Ask Adrian Clark a Question. Everybody got an opportunity to ask you just one. We're going to start with Intrigue. He's from Atlanta, and he says, being that you've been around welterweight champion Errol Spence, do you feel that he has the skills and personality to be a true megastar in the sport of boxing?
Skills, yes. I do feel like he needs to be not animated. I never want him to be fake, but to give a better soundbite to the media and to make to sell the fights better.
You my dude.
I feel like he needs to be better at that, because I feel like he's just too laid back. Like for me, I mean, that's just his demeanor. That's like asking Jay Prince is always on a 1 or a 2. To ask Jay Prince to go to a 10, you're never gonna get. And I feel like with Errol, like, you really gotta piss him off to get him past the like 5. And I feel like to sell fights, he needs to be able to do that more. So skill wise, hell yeah, he got it. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like selling the fights, yeah, he has to do a better job at that.
So can I call you, like, are you the equivalent of like what Espinosa is at Showtime and Peter Nelson was at HBO? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So very good to hear an executive of a network that understands that. Even Earl needs to have a personality. So, I'm glad, because, you are in charge of what's going to be on television. So very important. But we got some more. We got King Amin. He comes from Newark, New Jersey. Says, what is the real reason why cross-promotion fights, like, say, a Spence versus Crawford, can't or don't happen today in boxing? Is it strictly financial?
No, it's all like with the split of
And
the
let
business.
me real quick. I know you're probably getting tired of my interruptions, but
No, you
let me
good.
quickly say that you actually have a subject on this in your book. So again, another reason to purchase the book. He speaks specifically about Spence Crawford and why you feel it'll never happen.
Yeah, it's just the split of the business. Like Al Heyman owns the PBC and Bob Arum owns Top Rank Boxing, and certain fights they get together and do. They have their handlers put together, like you saw Fury and Wilder. So you saw that fight happen, and that was a joint promotion with PBC and Top Rank. But with Crawford and Spence, both guys are the cash cows for both sides. So it's like, you don't want your top dog to be either beaten or shot down. But I don't. With those two are always at odds. Like Bob Arum comes out publicly and says things about Al Heyman. Al never says anything to anybody. It's just that's the reason why the fight won't happen, because those two have to pick up the phone and like hash out the who, where, when, what, how. And it's difficult to make. So it's not on the fighters. Errol can say what he wants and Terrence can say what he wants, but at the end of the day, they're not the ones that make fights. The guys that are behind the scenes, they make the fights happen, and I don't see it happening.
Funny you say that. We just had Bob Arum on not too long ago, maybe 7 days or something like that, and he made it seem like him and Al are the best of friends now after this promotion. And he kept repeating that. He said, well, after this promotion, they worked beautifully. I mean, Sylvia. I literally typed in the chat, like, I've never heard Bob be so, like pro Al. And, I even threw like a Twitter fight at him. Terrence and Charlo were beefing on Twitter, and I'm like, yo, would you do that since Terrence can't get any fight? He says, look, Charlo is actually better than Kelbrook. I love that fight. I'm gonna call Al, but we gotta wait for the pandemic to be over. I was like, what the hell? Who kidnapped Bob Arum?
Yeah, I hope that was the real Bob Arum, man, that was talking, and not him being a promoter and just selling it for the fans' sake. I hope that's really real, man. I hope, like I said, like I talked about in the book, man, like this will all be easier if it was just all under one roof and fights can be made however. But with things being split, I hope he's being real, and I hope that fight can be seen with Crawford and Errol. But I just don't. Terrence what, 32 now?
32.
He's 32 years old. Yeah, I don't see it, man.
Now Earl.
That's my dude.
Who you got?
Yeah.
Friendship aside.
It's not even me being biased. Like, it'll be his toughest fight. It'll be both of those guys' toughest fights. But I don't see. I always said, like, you gotta show Errol or give him something that can keep him off your ass. Whether that be your power, whether that be a stiff jab to keep him at bay, or your condition level is just incredible. Like, you're gonna have to do something to keep him off your ass. And Terrence is skilled. He's very skilled, and he does everything like exceptionally well. But I just don't see him with the power at 47 to keep Errol off of his ass. So I got Errol by yeah. I don't want to say late stoppage, but Errol beats him.
Okay, we got Victor Banuelos, who says a lot of old school cats say that fighters of today would never last in the 70s and 80s, and that great fighters no longer exist. In your opinion, what makes a great fighter?
I'll say this. Like, there's a reason why, like, you think about Muhammad, you throw Floyd in there, you throw Mike Tyson in there. Those guys had personality, man. Like George Foreman, like those guys had something to sell outside of the ring. I feel like that's what attributes to a great fighter. We've seen a lot of guys in the ring that are just complete dog. To me, Evander Holyfield, you know what I'm saying, one of the greats. He'll give you everything in the ring, but you know what I'm saying, you put that microphone in front of him, and Evander wouldn't give you too much. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's still considered a great, it's just like for the casual fan, you want to get more from the fighter. So I feel like the total package comes with a guy that can sell it outside the ring and a guy that can sell it inside the ring. Understanding that you're an entertainer more than anything, that's what makes a great fighter to me. So if you don't have the total package, you don't have both sides, man, I can't consider you one of the greats. To me, Floyd is picking up. I won't ever put him above Muhammad Ali, because only reason why I won't, as the total package, Muhammad stood up at a time where it was difficult for black people, difficult for minorities, period, to whether it be make a living or be somebody. So Muhammad is always going to be an icon within that, right? But Floyd, as far as like modern day goes, he was a guy that was able to entertain you outside the ring with 24/7 and all his antics, but then also in the ring, beat somebody with his hands down in front of them for 12 rounds. So, that total package inside and outside the ring makes you a great fighter.
Next one is from DBX in the UK, who says, do you think that this break in boxing will have a positive impact on the sport once it resumes, specifically when it comes to making fights between rival promoters and companies? Thank you for your time.
Yeah, I really think it will help out. And maybe that's why Bob was a little bit more, open with you guys, the interview you guys did with him in hopes to make things happen. Because right now, like, nobody's making any money. So when you come back, you want to make up for potential money that's been lost. And hopefully, I always said that, it's going to take the younger blood to bring change to the sport. Whether it be, I know Todd DeBoff is really, really innovative, and Sylvia is really powerful, who does things for Al. But, this down period, hopefully the promoters are behind closed doors. Eddie Hearn is a good guy himself. Hopefully these people are behind closed doors, working with each other and trying to see how they can form this alliance to really make some of the bigger fights with ease that the fans really want to see. So I think the down period of everything going on is not good, of course, but it's good for the sport of boxing.
Okay, so we're gonna go to Brandon next. Wait, you didn't go to Brandon, right?
Yeah, Brandon from Cincinnati.
Brandon Maurice, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can a boxing promoter survive in this day and age without a TV network or app deal?
Ooh, that's a great question, B. You have to be a very savvy businessman and like, if you're putting on like local club shows, man, you'll have to do everything from, cap purses to own, what I'm saying? If you have a liquor license or something like that, to own the concession, to have like condensed shows. Like, don't try to get an arena or something that's like a 2,000 seat venue or whatever it may be. If you got something that's between 250 and 500, and most importantly, you capping the purses between the fighters. Yeah, that's a way for you to survive as a local promoter. I mean, boxing survived the Great Depression. That's a sport that was ongoing while the Great Depression was going on. So there's a way to do it. It's just you have to be really savvy as a businessman, and hopefully you have the relationships with the fighters to help them understand that like the purses will be capped. But yeah, there's a way to survive without the networks or the apps. It's just you have to be really, really savvy as a businessman.
Got you. Right, next question.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. My Jimbe's up next, who says, we have seen a surge of managers become promoters lately, i.e. Cameron Duncan now is Wow Promotions or One Promotions. In boxing, which is more important for the fighter, the manager, or the promoter?
Damn good question. I'm
gonna give you my version, right? Because I met Cameron and he was a manager, and he had Mikey, he had Terrence, he had Bradley, and keyword there is had. And I believe we had a conversation where he was like, if you're a manager, your fighter leaves you. If you're a promoter, they can't go nowhere.
Which is not accurate. Well, it's accurate in a sense because of the contract that is signed. But
those extensions, every time you get a title or some crazy things.
Right, but as you're starting to see now, like Mikey Garcia was like, bro, you know what? I'm gonna sit out my contract and force y'all hand on this thing. Either y'all gonna let me go or I'll just sit it all the way out. Ryan Garcia, like, essentially, I'm not gonna say strong arm Golden Boy, but he was like, no, like, we're gonna reconstruct some things in this contract that I signed based off of everything that I'm bringing into what I'm doing.
I told you I'm gonna interrupt you throughout this interview, but
go ahead.
I got to pat myself on the back. I be telling them that Ryan strong on them with his social media numbers, and it's good to have a dude that's on the inside. Go ahead and tell them that, because they don't respect social media. These guys are, they're stuck. It's like I got an older audience. We range from 18 to about 65, but our older callers believe that like that's not it. Oh man, they just need to fight. They just need to fight. No, bruh. If you don't bring nothing to the table, we don't even care about you.
Yeah, for real. For real. So no, I like guys that, say that, even though I feel like a manager is important, especially when you're first starting off, have someone to kind of teach you if they're teaching you the ropes and kind of showing you the business and your mouthpiece to get you signed with a promoter. But however, I do feel that once you're signed with a promoter, I'm probably gonna get a little trouble for this. I'll be real. Once you sign with a promoter, bruh, like I don't advise athletes to negotiate their own deal. But if you know business and you're savvy enough to negotiate your own deal, then like you don't need a manager once you have a promotional company behind you, because it's just a conversation, man. It's you talking to Rob Diaz, it's you talking to Jolene Mazzone, and it's you talking to whatever other matchmaker there is on, okay, who am I fighting, how many rounds I'm fighting, hotel rooms, per diem, medicals. Go ahead.
I gotta interrupt because then a guy like Daniel Jacobs, he was groomed. I mean, since Danny had hair, he had braids, he was Golden Glove champs in New York, he was destined to be in the position that he's in today. He was signed to Golden Boy, but he always had Al. Then he brought on Keith Conley, but he always had Al. Then he signed to a manager, having Conley and Al. And I say all that to say that that's the exact opposite of what you're saying, but he also got the biggest paydays because of Conley. Like, he would have never made $12 million.
But I agree with you, but peep something. It's like Al's agenda is all PBC. That's his agenda. Like that's his baby. That's what he created. So I imagine his conversation with Danny Jacobs is about PBC. Oh, no, you don't need to go over there. You don't need to go to that side. Like you're paid here. We'll get you paid here. We'll get you the fights here. But bringing in a guy, and it just shows the smarts of Danny, bringing in a guy like Keith Conley, it's like, yo, that's another mindset of, okay, I have a relationship with Eddie Hearn. Like we can talk to Eddie or we can talk to HBO to see what they can offer. Maybe Danny didn't know that at the time. So I don't want to make it like managers are not needed. I'm a former one myself, but I'm just saying, if a guy is totally educated on the industry, let's just take, like, if we can start Jerry from scratch and everything that I taught Jerry, if Jerry signed with a promotional company, I guarantee you Jerry knows exactly what to do moving forward. It's just with the situation with Danny and Al, it's like, yo, Al is only preaching one thing, which is his baby, but Keith came in like, yo, there's a whole nother world outside the PBC, and I can present that world to you just to show you what they can offer. It's the same thing that I was doing with Errol. Like in the book, I talk about HBO. It's like, yo, he knows Al is his guy. I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to show you that there are other people that can offer something. Here are the offers. What you think about them, go from there. Go ahead.
Editor jumping in, saying what Adrian is talking about is the fact that he also is the guy that brought that Miguel Cotto offer to fucking Earl, bro. Like the whole sign the Golden Boy, get the Cotto deal. And, I know a lot of people didn't want Earl to take that deal, but I did. I thought having a legendary name on your scalp, I mean, look, it didn't do anything for Saddam Ali because Saddam Ali isn't a Olympian. He's not Earl Spence. And I just think that if Earl would have beat Cotto, he would have been so much bigger. Not to say he's not as big as he would have been now, but I think it was a good deal, man. The fact that you did that, man, you are just killing it out there.
But I was honestly, and in this respect to Oscar and Eric and Rob, I know those guys, like Golden Boys, like family. Errol didn't need to sign with Golden Boy, and I knew like that was like a big stipulation. And I'm like, yo, like in my head, I'm like, yo, it's never gonna happen because he doesn't need to sign like with Golden Boy, he has like man down promotion. Like, can we get this thing done with his promotional company? So like there was so many different things that was like.
Was that shot down?
Say it again.
Was that shot down by them when
it wasn't the point it was shot down. It's just I don't think it at the end of the day it just didn't make sense on either end, especially like the delivery of the presentation that we had with HBO. But it's just like the whole signing with Golden Boy. It felt like that was like a pushed agenda. And like at that time, he didn't need to sign with Golden Boy. And then the leak, like there was a leak that happened because Dan Rayfield ended up reporting about it. Like that killed everything. It's like, bro, like who in the hell, like how? So it's like, yo, you know what? Forget the whole thing now because it was all leaked. But I don't feel like Errol needed to sign with Golden Boy like to make HBO happen.
All right, we got another one here from George Foster, also in the UK. Says, if Fury knocks out Wilder again, do you think Wilder will retire or continue to fight on?
No, he'll continue to fight on. Like I don't have Wilder beating Fury the third time around. Like I mean, like Tyson has his number. Tyson has unless Deontay is just gonna. I don't know the next time they're gonna fight. I'm pretty sure their date is gonna be pushed back based off of all of this. But if you're just basing your entire game plan off of your one punch, which is really huge, and he's a respectable champion, but I don't see him beating Tyson. So if he gets knocked out or if he loses by decision, he's not going to retire. There's still other fights out there to make for Deontay Wilder. I just don't have him beating Fury for the third time.
All right, we got some more. Again, tell me if you got it cut out because we got.
No, bro, I'm good. I'm good.
I tell you, we got an audience. I'm glad they all came out too. This is proving we need to be on your network. That being said, Carlito says, after you were on the last podcast, I went and watched a lot of your videos about you and your work. You are an inspirational man. I wanted to ask how you're getting on with the implementation of the boxing manager certificate. Love and blessings from London.
Yo, so I've already completed that. I've already filmed it. A lot of people are kind of like, yo, what the hell is the boxing manager certificate? And I just had a conversation yesterday with Jay Prince about it, and I've had a conversation with Ness about the boxing manager certificate. So the reason for the boxing manager certificate, which will be put out more than likely probably in the fall, the reason for it is this. You know, anyone can get a boxing manager's license. Like, as long as you don't have a criminal background, you can be licensed as a boxing manager. However, what the state commissions don't come equipped with, what they don't give you with that license is an education on what it is to be a boxing manager so you can actually hit the ground running. So imagine a guy that knows nothing about sports management, that knows nothing about the business of boxing, that knows nothing about negotiation. He can become a manager next week as long as he's quote unquote licensed. But imagine that individual who knows nothing copying and pasting contracts from other managers and say, hey, I'm a manager, come sign with me. He's doing a disservice for a lot of fighters because you're signing agreements under this individual who has arguably no contacts, no relationships, and no education on the business. What the boxing manager certificate is going to provide for individuals is a certificate of authenticity, completing the course, which is going to be 12 rounds, and you'll have to complete a quiz at the end of the course. By the end of the course, you'll be well versed and knowledgeable on the business of boxing, so you'll know what to do, exactly what to do once you begin representing a fighter rather than now. Okay, let's say you sign 2 fighters. What the hell? What's your first step? What do you do? If you get on the phone with a Rob Diaz or a Jolene Mazzone, can you really negotiate with those individuals? Because if you come with Jolene with, okay, well, it's a 4-round fight and we want $5,000 and we want 5 fights, Jolene is going to tell you to kiss her ass and she's going to say, fuck you. And she's going to hang up on you. Rob Diaz may not say those things, but he will hang up on you. So I'm feeling like the reason why I'm doing all of this is to educate. Just like I'm educating and inform the fighters on the nature of the business, I'm doing the same thing for managers to help you guys hit the ground running. If you're coming from a place of ignorance, don't mean you're stupid. It's just you just don't know the ins and outs of boxing. So the boxing manager certificate is going to be something that will help you guys hit the ground running, and there'll be a database. Once you complete the course, there'll be a database for fighters to go to see that you actually completed the course, so they deem you as credible. So it kind of helps you out in regards to the recruiting process. If you're an unknown manager, for you to say, look, man, I completed this course and I'm well versed, I'm educated on the nature of the business, and I can negotiate on your behalf strongly, rather than it's like, oh yeah, we can figure things out on the fly. I'm kind of killing that curve for you guys and giving you the information and knowledge you need to get your fighters opportunities. And yeah.
Yo, after reading the book, first question, true or false, the fighter works for you. If they get that one wrong, they failed the whole quiz. They failed the whole quiz.
You don't even get your certificate if you don't answer that one right.
That may be the last question on the course. Like, yo, who works for who?
Let me go to the next one. I think Ryan, I want to say he's from LA, but I feel like we met him in the 2016 New York appreciation. Like, that being said, Ryan, a.k.a. Dempsey, says, I read somewhere you had worked with Jarrell Big Baby Miller, which, editor's note, there is a part in the book with Big Baby, so definitely go buy the book. You can get it on Amazon. It's not essential right now, so I don't know how long it's going to take on the shipping, because damn, they got me waiting for some packages forever. That being said, buy it on Amazon, and yeah, man. And look, TBV is getting absolutely nothing. This is just a really, really good read. Plus, we're on quarantine. You need something to read. Going back to the question, how disappointing was it to find out that AJ fight slipped through his fingers because of the failed PD test? Damn, I don't know how could you answer. This is actually an entire, chapter in your book.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah, but I think you could touch on it.
Yeah,
in a way. Yeah, I think you could touch on it in a way that entices.
People, we all mess up, man, and Jarrell messed up really, really big, and it's a conversation that Errol Spence and I had with him after the first video he put up on Instagram when everything had came out. So it was disappointing, but it wasn't. No, he wasn't the first. He wasn't the first fighter, and he damn sure won't be the last to have a big opportunity snatched from him. Not even snatched from him, but more so that he messed up himself. And you look at it now. I mean, even though the suspension was whatever, he served his suspension from with the WBA or whoever it was. He served his suspension, and he took the backlash from everybody, because everybody was going in on him about how stupid he was and about how weak he was. Whatever was said, he took it. He took it on the chin, and now he's back. He's signed with Top Rank now. He has a deal with Jay Prince, which we helped put together for both sides. And I feel like once everything is back up and running, him having the engine behind him with Top Rank and fighting with ESPN. We'll see that fight again. We'll see Big Baby versus AJ. We'll see Big Baby versus Fury. We'll see Big Baby versus Wilder, and he'll make up for the money that he lost last year.
Shout out
Ness, what's that look for, man?
Nah, the next question is from Dallas or definitely Texas, and he's been a patron of ours for so long, and I never knew he was. I didn't connect to Dallas, but I got this new iMac, so it's the new Retina, and I can see his avatar so crystal clear now, and it's like Earl Spence and Mikey. So obviously he went to the fight, but and he knows you, champ. So I'm just smiling because it's a small world. PG Darrow says, AC, is that jump shot still wet? The Groove is proud. Look, he said the Groove is proud of you.
The Grove.
The Grove.
I'm from the Grove. Okay. From the Grove. But yeah, no, I still can shoot it. I'm still a lefty. I think Daryl. I think that's my. I think that's my brother's. One of the friends my brother came up with, man. I think that's Daryl from. If he's from the Grove, his name is Daryl. That's more than likely my brother's friend. And I ain't heard from him in a minute, man. But yeah, no, I can still shoot it. And I rep the Grove all day, every day, man. That's where I'm from. So I think that's Daryl, my brother's friend, but much love to you, bro. It's been a minute. Hit me up on Instagram, man. Send me your number so we can talk.
Sony is from Oregon, right, Mario?
Yes.
Okay. Sony Wood says, I'm keeping it 100%, Mr. Clark. Your business model with Athletic AC Sports was so open-ended that it allowed athletes to venture outside of it. If you sound like Al Heyman, if not, what's the difference with your business approaches?
Well, I mean, I sold AC Sports Management, so I mean, I can't really fully understand the question. Like, I sold AC Sports last year, so I don't. And as far as like Al, I don't compare myself to Al. Al is a totally different beast with got 30-year head start on me, fam. So I kind of don't understand the question.
Yeah,
I see
don't
Mario
know.
kind of smiling. So Mario, do you get it? Like maybe you can ask it another way.
I think what he's trying to say is that, okay, so I'm going to reread it because it was worded a little different. He said, I'm keeping it 100%, Mr. Clark. Your business model with Athletes AC Sports was so open-ended that it allowed athletes to venture outside of it. You sound like Al Heyman. If not, what's the difference in your business approaches?
Okay, so Pete, I think he's talking about like the boxing manager agreement to where it's like corporate America. It's like, yo, like you're hiring me to do a service for you, right? So I'm gonna do that service to the best of my ability. But if you feel like that my services have dropped, or you feel like someone else will be better for you, I'm not holding you hostage, fam. Like, and I don't think it's that way with Al Heyman. Maybe it is, but if you're not happy with my services, if you're not happy with the things that I deliver to you, bro, if you owe me, like if I front money to you, or if I help you pay for certain things, and we got an agreement in place for you to pay me back my bread, bro, once you pay me back my money, like I'm sayonara. You can go do what's best for your career, and I wish you the best going forward. But I ain't holding no grown man hostage. So I hope that answers like your question. But I don't. Yeah, it is open ended because I don't own athletes. I don't own their careers. They pay me to do a service, and I feel like I was one of the best to do that service. But if they felt like I wasn't the best, or they felt like they can get a better deal somewhere else, I wasn't holding them hostage. It's like, yo, as long as you don't owe me no dough on the back end, like go do your thing, and I wish you the best going forward, man. And like that was my motto, and it worked. It worked for 9 years. I never had an issue with guys paying me, or I've been fired. Don't get me wrong. Like Cassius Chaney, the heavyweight, like we weren't together for a long time. Like he fired me before like our first fight. So it's not like I haven't been dropped. Yeah, it's not like I haven't been dropped before.
He gonna be something too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I like his whole look, like the afro and shit. Like he's nice, but yeah, he let me go. You know what I'm saying? Because he felt like he had a better situation. Like I wasn't disappointed. I'm like, yo, do your thing.
Yo, he signed a David. They probably gave him a signing bonus.
Yeah, so it's like, yo, do your thing, fam. Like even John Vera from Texas. I think he's a middleweight or welterweight. Like even him, it was between me and David McWaters, and it's like, yo, he came with my book signing. We chopped it up and we talked, and I just gave him my spiel, and I'm like, yo, you got to do what's best for you at the end of the day. And he ended up going with David McWaters, and it's like, yo, it's no hard feelings. Me getting fired is no hard feelings. It sucks, but it's just like getting fired from your job, fam. It's like, yo, you have to just make the adjustment and move on. So I don't see nothing wrong with that model at all.
Yo, listen, and I'll put it this way. I in my experience in boxing, I can say that the fighters, we see it all the time. The younger guys, the guys that are coming up, they leave a promoter or a manager, for the next step in their career. But the guys that the guys that seem to get return business are the ones with that kind of open-ended plan where it's like, what you're going to get. So you're going to come to me. I'm going to do this for you. We have this agreement, and that's it. And it isn't until later in a fighter's career that they realize just how valuable that is to not be locked down. And you're starting to see it from the promotional side with guys like Mikey Garcia, Andre Ward, people that have taken their careers in their own hands. And did it cost them years? Absolutely. But what did they do ultimately? They set the groundwork for fighters for the future. And to be honest with you, Look, I haven't asked the question of whether you're done managing forever or not, but I really hope you're not, because I honestly think that it's the knowledge you have is important to share, but obviously you're going to be able to share it on a much higher level. So
nah, that's what protect yourself at all time is. And believe me, I had that conversation. He's done with that.
Yeah,
We got
I got that from the book.
we got Steve in Chicago that says, "Do you believe Fight Network will compete with Dazn one day?"
One day, yes. One day, yes. But we have a journey to go, man. And my focal point is not the fights. Like it's not my focal point at all. Not the live fights. We'll get there as long as the innovative ideas keep coming in and we keep adding like powerful creative content. That's going to be the key. But live fights is not the focal point. But yes, we'll be a direct competitor of Dazn one day. But right now, you know what I'm saying, they got it, man. So we're just admiring from a distance and trying to build our thing, but not right now.
All
not
right.
right now.
Last one is from JT in New Orleans. Says Earl Spence versus Canelo at 160.
That's the super fight, man. Whoever you are, fam, you got it down. Like I talk to Earl about that like often. It's like, bro, that's your super fight. Crawford is one thing, but Canelo, Earl Spence at 60, damn. Close fight, but and I hate because I'm such good friends with him. It's like every time I say Earl Spence, it's like, oh, nigga, you're a friend of his. Like that's why you going with him. It's like, no, bro. Like he's that good, man. Like he's that good. So I would go with Earl. Like Derek and I talk about it all the time. I'm trying to figure out like, who would beat him? Who I see like, who would beat this kid? And I think the two toughest fights will be Canelo and Crawford.
I feel sorry for you, man. People are gonna tell us not to get you back on. We got so many Bud fans. You don't understand. They Bud fans, they go at me every day because I don't, have the same opinion as them. But now they're gonna hate you. Forget about it.
Oh yeah, they probably are, bro. I mean, I love the kid's skill level, bro. I feel like he's the second best in the sport, but the best comes from Texas, bro.
Yo, you hardly never hear anyone call Bud the second best. He's usually the best, right?
All love to him, man. But the best is right here in D-Town, man.
I mean, some of the people too that got the faith put in Errol is like, after post accident, that's something that's even spoken on the show. Like we don't know if everybody still has that confidence in Earl, man.
So if let's just say hypothetical, and we asking you guys. He comes back, and let's say, I'm pretty sure first fight may be a warm-up fight or whatever it may be. But
Maurice Lee is the rumor.
Okay, all right. So let's just say if he comes back, and let's say if he fights Danny Garcia, if he destroys Danny Garcia, if he fights Danny Garcia first fight back and he destroys him, what's y'all take on him?
Nah, he's back 100%.
He's back.
If he looks back, he's back. But it depends how you fight. Cause think about AJ, right? Like I know right now in retrospect, Wilder lost. We are a heavy Wilder show. He's been on this show from the beginning, before the belt and throughout the belt. So people consider us kind of biased. But the truth is, AJ's win, he looked shaky. Like I'm still waiting to see how he's gonna look. Like he didn't look like confident. It was more like, yo, get up off me.
Yeah. No, and I can
he did what he needed to win.
So
right.
And that's what I'm saying. So I need to see that out of Earl. I can't see, get away from me. I'm just, don't really hit me because I got out of an accident. I need to see the killer he was, walk him down and get him out of there. That's what I need to see to be like, oh yeah, he's 100 back. But if he's not 100 back, I'm not gonna say he's 100 back.
Because one thing too, AC, that we've heard on the show from guests that we've had is rumors
not from guests, from Rick Ramos, the trainer of Jessica McCaskill, who's the unified champion. I'm just saying, where it originated from.
He said to us that he's heard from PBC, from people high within the PBC rankings, that Earl's not the same, and that some people are worried that he's done completely after the accident. So that's what we're hearing, and at the end of the day, like it skews the opinion of people. You know what I'm saying? So it goes way to the other side.
I don't know who that is. Maybe if I saw his face, maybe I know who he is. But Derek's gym is like completely cut off. So he's saying high up PBC execs. If he's talking to Sylvia or Brad, highly doubt it. But I damn sure know he's not at the gym here in Dallas because no one gets really access to the gym. It's the same old characters at the gym. So I don't know where he would get that report from. I mean, I would love for him to say, "Oh yeah, I talked to Sylvia, and Sylvia said that he'll never be the same." I call bullshit on that. But if he come to Dallas, if you ever can get access to the gym, you'll see what we see, and that he ain't lost a step. So I don't talk much on it, but I've seen him at the gym. If I didn't see him at the gym, I'll tell y'all like, yo, I ain't seen that cat at the gym, bro. I don't know what's going on with him, but bro, I've seen this cat work out.
So all right. So if you're that confident, why do you think the rumors of this Maurice Lee fighter being the comeback fight is just again Maurice Lee trying to get some clout, or because I mean Maurice Lee and Danny two different levels, like hugely.
Oh,
different.
completely.
They're like
completely.
5 different levels.
Completely, but it's like even with like the Kell Brook fight, bro, that wasn't a fight that was, oh yeah, you know what, Al and everyone supporting, like, yeah, you go take that. Bro, that was EJ, like, yo, no, let me go take this dude's lunch. So he kind of went against what his advisors was telling him and went and beat, you know what I'm saying, a world champion, brought the title back to the United States. So maybe it's a situation of Maurice Lee saying, yeah, get some clap. But let me say this real fast. But bro, if they take that to EJ and it's like, yeah, yo, your first fight is gonna be against a Maurice Lee, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be like, yo, hell no, I'm not taking that fight. Like, get me someone else. Like, that's just his attitude towards it. Like, Al is gonna have to do some really convincing shit, in my personal opinion, to get him to accept a fight with Maurice Lee.
Which just goes to show that the fighter, or rather everyone else, works for the fighter. The fighter is in charge, which I gotta ask again, bring you back to the Spence Earl fight. Like, I mean, no, Spence Earl's same person. Spence Crawford. Yeah, so like if you're saying you've witnessed Earl already go against the grain, so then is the issue Crawford?
I wouldn't even say it's Crawford. I wouldn't even say it's Bud, because Bud has to. He wants the Errol Spence fight. They both are fighters, man. So they want to fight. People just have to understand, like, yo, there's and I hate saying the word hierarchy, but with Terrence Crawford, like, he fights under the PBC, he fights under the Top Rank brand. So there's a conversation between Todd and Bob that has to happen for it to go down. Almost kind of the same with Errol and Al. Is just, you know, he's his advisor. He owns the PBC, but Errol has free reign to be like, yo, like, this is the fight that I want. Like, let's make this shit happen. So I don't feel like it's Bud that's slowing up the fight. Neither do I feel like it's Errol that's slowing up the fight. It's the business side, man. It's the people that own the entities that they fight under that are slowing up the fight. The fighters want to fight. Unless a dude just comes out and says, hell no, which he'll never do. Like, hell no, I don't want that fight. Then no, the fighters want to fight, man. Just the business side.
But you literally just said Earl is the only one in the position that could turn to his people and say, no, this is the fight that I want. You said if Crawford turns to his people, a conversation has to be had between Todd DeBuff and Bob Arum before that decision could be made.
Yeah, so Errol's on one side. It's like, yo, like I'm here. But as far as like Terrence goes, he can say, I want the fight. But if his people are like, oh, no, we're not going that direction right now, or no, Al is not giving us the number that we want to hear, or we're trying to figure out how to do the network split. If all of that is going down, then yeah, the fight is not gonna, like, it's not gonna happen when people want to. But Errol has more wiggle room than Crawford has. Crawford has to wait essentially on Bob and Todd.
Well, Adrian, that is every single question in terms of the people. I mean, I'm sure we have more, but we don't want to keep you any longer. Man, just want to thank you for a fantastic interview, great book, and a great book review, man.
Appreciate it, man. You already know, bro. We'll be talking, because I mean, there are some things that I got from our first conversation, just speaking with you, and of course, shout out to you, Alex, and Mario. You already know it's love, man. But there's some things I want to talk about going forward. I love what you guys do, and you know what it is, Ness. I think you already can sense it, but take things to another level, man. It's time to really.
Hey, man, what chapter is that in your book where you said that you done had plenty deals not happen? So I'm on that chapter.
I got that highlighted too. I meant to bring that up.
But no, listen, I definitely look forward to it. I hope But yeah, I'm still with you. That's why I said we relate so much because man, I've sat down so much and it doesn't happen. So yeah, but look, hearing it from the guy that just said on this interview, ain't nobody above him. He said, well, he puts on TV, he gets to put that on. He ain't gotta. So there's no less Moonves for you because Espinosa does have to go to less. Like, yo, help me out to make this Pacquiao Mayweather deal.
Oh man, I mean, it's Lynn's. At the end of the day, it's Lynn's company, so I appreciate the guru of things like blessing me with the ability to just do things, but they respect my knowledge of boxing and then what I've done in the past 9 years, from the relationships to everything else. So no, man, we're gonna get something going, man. Something really cool going.
For sure. Well,
Hey,
Adrian,
man.
man, if you go ahead.
Yeah, no. I just want to say thank you for coming on, and yeah, man, please hit me up when you come to Corpus. I'd love to, chop it up, get lunch or whatever.
Yeah, I'm about to say I'll let you know once we get a production date.
Awesome.
And I'll probably be down there probably for a week to shoot, rock from there, man.
So
Awesome.
everyone can. Go ahead.
Yeah, AC, good looking out coming on, man. You dropped a lot of pearls of wisdom for not only the fighters, but coaches, and even on to just a regular Joe that wants to pick up a good read. Go check this book out. I actually kidnapped the book from Ness for a few days. I had Ness telling me like, "Yo, when you bringing it back?" But I'll go pick up a copy as soon as Amazon. I never got to hit you back with the email, but yo, thank you a lot, bro. I think you're doing an incredible job in informing would-be fighters, and that's something that in the past was not done. I think that the sport is evolving, and along with this evolution is information and the know-how, and you're like at the forefront of this. So cool.
Yeah.
No,
Kudos.
the manager certificate is something that I think is a fantastic idea. I've had my off-air debates with him on it.
Right.
Really quick, I want to say you can follow Fight Network at FightNet. You can buy his book at adrianclark.org, and you can find all the books there. And social media is what? AC
_Clark.
All right, well there you go, man. Thanks again, champ, for coming on. We have some callers, so AC, you could definitely jump off, and I guess we'll talk to you another time.
All right, man. I'll holler at y'all.
No problem. We're going to go out to all the callers. Remember the number to call in, 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 one time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the Hotline. Whatever. Voice of the People Hotline. Yeah, let's go
Mike Tyson. Out. I don't know, man.
That was pretty good.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
We're going out to Getty, Harlem. What up? Morning.
Harlem World.
Getty. Going once. Twice. Going out to Info Joe in Cali.
Mr. Info Joe.
This portion of the show we call In the
Mr.
Know,
Info Joe.
presented by my brother.
Yo, good morning, TBV fam.
What
you hear
up,
me?
Joe? Yes, sir. Good morning, brother.
Hey, man, I know you've been asking me, man. It's been about a good 85 last few days, man. It's beautiful out here.
Put a smile on my face.
Right. Great interviews. Very informative, man. Shout out to Adrian Clark, man. You sound like a good brother, man. I wish you best in your endeavors. Ness, I think, man, you need to go into marketing, man. On the promotion side, man, you need to get with a promotional company and be the head marketing director, man. You good at matchmaking and finding a way how to sell a fight, man. You good at that shit, man. You could, I think you got that shit honestly, man. I think that should be your one of your second goals that you get into, man. I mean, I don't want you to leave TBV, man, but I think you should get into marketing, man, and think about that, bro. You got that shit. Mario, I meant to tell you yesterday, brother, you did a great job. Shout out to everybody that participated in the Friday freestyle battle, man. All y'all did good, man, and I think this is gonna do good for the show. But that's all I got, fam.
Appreciate it, Joe. Thank you so much.
Info, Joe, man. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words, obviously, man. Yeah, man, look, man, let's hope that something comes from it. You know, look, it's funny that, you know, he continues to get sponsored by Everlast. Everlast sponsored his Protect Yourself at All Times, you know, kind of like first project. I don't know if it was the book or the tour or something. But now they're coming on to sponsor the live show. So, yeah, I mean, you know, this is the second TV exec that we've had on that said they want to hook up TBV. Let's see what comes from it, man. Hopefully something, you know, I know God has something in the cards for us, man. It's just, you know, remember, it's not on our time, but
God's time.
Yeah, but it's moving in the right direction, man. And, look, you don't do things expecting anything. This was genuinely a fantastic book, and you know, if something comes out of that, it would just be perfect. Because let me tell you, Mario's known this guy the entire time. I know Mario now. I don't even. It's got to be like almost 8 years. So It's like, I've never met Adrian, bro. That's why it was insane reading this book. Like, look, this is another 2 hours plus the 3 hours and a half that I've already spoken to him. Like, that is how good this book is for me, because his time in the sport, I was identically going through that time, and it just is like pivotal moments where we put each other in the same freaking vicinity, and I never met this dude. And
he was on the show a couple times too, like with Jerry, which is crazy. You know what I mean? But
never paid
this
attention
is the time.
to him.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, the fact that you're saying he was on this show with his fighter, I feel horrible. Never paid attention to him. Never. You know what I mean? It would have been amazing to get with him. Joe, you probably would have been right, because I'm telling you, in that 3 hour conversation, all I could think was, why'd he sell that company? Like, he could have just had Jerry Maguire's, you know what I'm saying? Like, why sell that company, especially now that you got a TV network? Imagine having AC Sports run by some good, young, innovative people and still be a television exec. Like, that means that the fighters that you manage get TV time. That means you grow stars. Like, but I get him, man. He made it clear to me, you know, that time is done in his life. It's done. I couldn't believe it.
It's a go get it attitude. I mean, that's the parallels that I saw between you and him. Like, because you guys like were not only like grinding but learning on the go. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
making the fucking mistakes. Like, it's shit crazy. What happened?
Brandon in the chat called me, Ness, let me finish my statement, Giz. No, I gotta interrupt because like, some of the stuff was part of the book, and I really want y'all to buy the book. Don't just listen to this 2 hour podcast. That book is good, man. It's good. It's good. It's gonna make you laugh. It's a very easy read. Let's go out to New Orleans. Looks like we got J-Mac on the line.
You know how these bitches is in the sport. Total disrespect. Kid has no class, no style at all.
I'm a gorilla, I'm a dog. I'm a dog, I'm a gorilla.
The smartest thing you can do is to stay away from terrorists.
It can't be the boogeyman if I'm chasing him. You want to bet? You bet 100,000 on that. Let's bet $1 million. Easy. Let's bet $1 million.
Yo, good morning.
Buenos dias, champ.
Champion.
Hey, I'm a follow right behind Info, and just tell her I respect all you guys. I know I call in and I talk my shit and stuff. And I actually met all y'all at the last Border Wars, except Enrica and stuff. Look, I'm dying to meet her. Nah, but on some real shit, like the show was lit yesterday. I do like the energy. I like entertaining. I like talking and shit and stuff. And I swear, like I told y'all, I'm gonna remind y'all. I'm gonna just say it for anybody that listening. It's all love, man. Like I said, I'm gonna get on anybody when I disagree with you. I guess that is my style. I kind of call you out and stuff like that. Like Mario pointed out, I'm like, fuck you if you don't agree with me. It's a little bit like that, but like I said, it's still all love and stuff like that. At the end of the day, I didn't hit a show. I just jumped on. Can you brief me right quick?
Nah, we was doing the book review, Adrian Clark's book review, Dark Horse, man. You know, he went from boxing manager, you know, to TV executive. So he's no different than, you know, Steven Espinoza, except he's doing it for Fight Network now.
And let me get both my calls out right quick, because I'm about to go train somebody. I mean, I ain't got too much on the topic. I didn't hear it, so I don't have an opinion. I do agree with Info Ness. You should do and pursue things that you real good at with that mouthpiece. That mouthpiece can get you a lot of selling stuff. I was still, if I had to go and compete against you, I would hate it because you're pretty good at it and stuff like that. You talk your shit, you know how to manage and stuff like that. I know you'll be on your Canelo with your fighters and shit like that, but it's all good, and you still getting the money and making this stuff. I got laid off 2 weeks ago, so I've been just training.
Oh man.
Yeah, I got laid off, so
I
I'm
thought
not
you was
tripping
a
though.
truck driver.
Yeah, I thought I was too. Shit, but I am. But they told me the business had dropped and they didn't need me. But I didn't take it as a closed door. I've been training. I've been being able to get
personal
into my
training.
boxing training. Yes, since I didn't stop working,
man,
I've been able to open up and connect with clientele.
We're gonna get together off air. We're gonna help you out, man. All we gotta do, you gotta create a social media. We could obviously campaign for you on the live show. You know, we have a lot of callers in New Orleans, man. There's a lot of numbers that don't give us their name because they never said anything, and you never know who is in town too, man. We could definitely help you out with that, man. And help you support.
I'm in Dallas.
Even better.
I'm in Dallas.
Even
My
better.
brother in New Orleans.
Even better, you seen the turnout for the border wars, man. There's a lot of listeners from Texas. So yeah, man, get a social media together so we could you got to start saying that. J Mac, the personal trainer. Find me on Instagram because I seen, is that you or your brother with the daughter with the the right hand? Her right hand serious.
That's me. And I do everything. I train boxing, basketball, every sport. I'm an all-around trainer, just to let it be known too.
So is your daughter competing, or that's just you personal training?
No. I use that. Her sport is basketball, and she a killer on the court too. She ranked in a she 2020 class 2026. She highly ranked. She probably the best point guard in the country right now, as of now, and stuff like that. So she got a lot of recognition. I use boxing to challenge her aggression. They bring it out on the basketball court more. So just to, just be able to know how to, when she put in certain situations, get away with certain elbows, certain movements, using her legs and body and stuff. So that I pretty much use boxing just to train her core and strengthen her and make her more aggressive. I don't think she has no endeavors to compete. She's stuck on basketball right now, but she's really, really good in basketball too.
Damn, that's smart as shit. I'd never thought about that, but that is such a good because, man, you're right. That's the way you could throw elbows, the way you could kind of extend with the shoulder length. Use the joint to kind of get people off. I mean, that's all boxing, but that all goes into basketball. Like, that's wow. I never even thought of that. That's a great point.
Let me get to your brother, but yeah, man. I mean, the way she was hitting the bag in that one drill, because she wasn't even just like traditionally hitting the bag. He was doing like a footwork drill. That I'm being honest, I'm definitely not pulling the Mario here. Like, I was looking at him like, I don't know that I can do that right away. Especially when she went from orthodox to southpaw. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to take some time to get used to the way that she was jumping in. So it was a good footwork drill. But what I noticed was the right hand, was solid. I thought he was getting her to fight. Let me get out to his brother, though, in New Orleans. So I be calling them both from New Orleans. So, okay. One is from DeSoto, home of Earl Spence. Home of Earl Spence. All right, let's get out to New Orleans, though.
So interesting that you come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit. Hey, with that comment. Come on. No, that was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit. You know, we're doing live TV. Man, I don't care. What you gonna do about it?
I'll kill this mother. Why do you have to talk like that? Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you. You have a problem? Turn off your station. I'm the best ever.
Yeah, what's up?
What up? What up?
Yeah, my brother stay in Dallas, DeSoto area around Arrow, and I stay in New Orleans. So JT stay in New Orleans, still down here. But I mean, I heard the interview, man. That dude, he from Texas, and he close to Arrow, and I respect his opinion. He sound like he got a New York accent though. He sound like Getty a little bit to me.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even hear the accent. You know, I didn't know he would. Like I said, I didn't know he was from Texas, man. It was crazy that we even had him on the show before, and I didn't even the book.
Yeah,
It
but
was the book.
yeah, but it was a good interview, Ness. One of your best interviews. He broke it down real good and really and let us understand that is most of these fighters that we be saying be ducking each other and stuff like that. It really don't be ducking. It's really the business side of the matter, and that's why a lot of fights don't get made, and that's why a lot of fights get get knocked down because of the business side of it. So I mean, yeah, like I said, good interview. That's all I really got though.
All right, JT. Well, thanks for calling in. Yeah, man, I was definitely excited when he, mentioned the Ryan Garcia thing because, people don't want to believe it. Oh, fuck your followers. All right. All right. Well, then, fuck them zeros on your check, too. You know what I mean?
And I think that, like, during that whole Logan Paul time where, like, you pretty much were, like, a go for it, and a lot of us hardcores were kind of like, eh. And it's like, it just makes sense now, dude. Like, you gotta take that into consideration.
Yeah,
you got to.
That's why I'm so excited, or I don't know if excited is the right adjective. Maybe just, I don't know, anxious, but like, what is he gonna do to get awareness to a channel that Americans are not, like, it's a Canadian channel. Like, who even pays? I'm shocked, Mario, but I guess you're a wrestling fan. Like, I mean, what could we expect? Like, that's why I was asking budget.
It's going to be the access to the network. And how easy they're going to make it accessible for the people here in America. Like, when I was talking to him about,
though. That's already a problem. It's not easy to access, in my opinion.
No, that's what I mentioned, that the first generation Apple TVs, because some of the Apple TVs from the older generations, you don't have certain features. So moving forward, I guess I'll look at it because I have in the living room the newer one, and you could like download apps and stuff like that. You could do a lot much more, but the accessibility and him even saying it, like, how the shit we dealt with when we first got the Zone and ESPN, and we talked about we did the reviews on the apps and you told our listeners what exactly were the goods and the bads, and it's always trying to get through the app, get into the content. So the accessibility is key. Whatever they're working on, accessibility is going to be one of the important factors in there, and getting it over to the America in a way where you're not just like saying like, who the fuck is that guy? Like, how are you going to introduce the network to the States? It's got to be a game plan on how they're going to do that.
But the network did have coverage like for boxing, like the specifically like UK guys. They would do interviews with them. They have this one show, can't remember what it's called, like Talk or something. It's like something like Conversations or something like that. And they would cover fighters and boxing. So it's not that they don't have a boxing presence. It's just very minimal. So.
And Fight Network covers all types of other stuff, right? Like,
everything. K1. I'm pretty sure K1, but I know kickboxing for sure. I don't know if it's specifically K1, but yeah, they have a lot of stuff.
Sambo tournaments, anything like that?
I don't know about that, but they have all types of stuff though. But Sambo, I'm not sure. I don't think so.
You call it the Fight Network. I'm thinking, I could go in there for all types of shit.
You can. Sambo, like I said, Sambo, I'm not sure 100%, but I wouldn't be surprised because they have all types of stuff.
Well, if they don't, it's 150 million in Russia. Just a little,
Yeah.
and a little analytical
Little
point of view
analytics
there,
for
AC.
you.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of Russian people that love Sambo. So yeah, man. I can't wait till it's full of boxing. Actually,
Yeah, for sure.
Let me get to Atlanta.
Hell no. He mad because I get the better fights. He mad because they still like me more. He mad because I got better numbers. He mad because he can't beat Keith Thurman. That's why he mad. Hell no.
So once when I get on that stage and I come at you, better not duck me, son. You better not duck me, son. I'm telling you.
What's good? What's good?
What up, champ?
Chilling, man. I ain't catch the whole show. I caught right before you went into the questions, people's questions. But nah, good show. I was just saying, man. I be watching the Fight Network. If it's the same Fight Network, I be watching it on the Pluto TV. They be playing like old
Pluto.
Like Mayweather.
Yes.
Yeah. They be because I think I saw Mayweather and Canelo fight. Be having a bunch of fights on there. But that's all I got, man.
Yeah,
All right.
Pluto. I was calling it Voodoo earlier. I meant to say Pluto is
Yo.
what it's on. Yeah.
This week, someone recommended for me to watch. I think it was like I said, I was watching Ali's like something. What was the documentary I said? Like the one where
Fighting Ali.
And when I said that into my remote control for Xfinity, Tubi came up, and it was free, and the whole documentary was there, and good quality.
What's Pluto TV? I
never heard of Pluto TV.
Pluto, so it's on a lot of smart TVs. Like we have a Vizio, and it's on there.
Really?
But
I got Vizio. I didn't know that.
Yeah. You go to like how they have like their own like where the shop is and all that stuff.
Yes.
So it's like in the same. So Pluto, like you use it in the same way. Like they'll have MTV for free. They'll have like they have all these channels, and Fight Network's on there. You go find it. You'll see like a bunch of Univision channels and Telemundo and MTV and just a lot of different stuff. If I'm not mistaken, I'm almost sure that the Impact Network is on there. On Pluto, I mean.
I'll look into that Pluto status. I know that the older version Vizios probably won't have that up there, but you talking about the newer, I guess, Vizios when you go into the Netflix options and shit. And
yes, exactly. That's exactly where it's at. When you go to Netflix and Hulu options, they have Pluto there. Yes.
I'm gonna check that out. This said Weed TV. He's on Pluto. Intrigued.
Yo, I feel like a piece of crap. Let me try to refrain from such.
Why, champ? Why?
Cause I'm just talking to so many Patreons on a daily basis, and bro, I didn't send people their rewards. Like, it's a wonder why I lost so many pages. I owe so many people shirts or koozies, bro. I feel like a piece of crap. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sending it out. I've been sending stuff out, man. I'm making up. I'm making up for lost time. Now, like I said, I ain't sending no new stuff out. This is old people, man. I cannot do that. But I am coming up with a plan. We are getting a lot of people that are requesting shirts. And when we reach a certain, milestone, we will do it. Like I said, in the past, Patreon, stop! My dog is wailing. Patreon has set up a service where they would do it, but like I said, they want to charge, like 3% on top of the already 5% they charging for being here. So, again, when we get to a certain level, I will resort back to giving out shirts. But I am making up for those people that I owe. And obviously you can't lie to me because, if you're a patron, whether active or not, I can see how long you were when you deleted all that good information. Shout out to Patreon for being very detailed. But again, I went into this long thing to say I apologize to a lot of people. And obviously, if you've been rocking out with us on Patreon the last 30 days, you see that there's been a complete complete change. 360 degrees is wrong. It's a 180 because we've given our back to the past and we're moving forward, and we're hoping that you are enjoying everything that we are bringing. That being said, I'm gonna head on out to Sid in Orlando. What up?
Hey, what up, man? You
What's
know I'm
going
still
on?
working. I don't want to stop, but shit, good job. I like that interview you did today because he was detailed with a lot of different shit. As usual, I don't even be checking out the topics no more because I just ride regardless of what y'all talking about. So everybody like the videos. I don't really got much to say. And oh yeah, for Mario, I always talk shit, talk trash. So I mean, yesterday when he was doing all of that stuff, he reminded me of that battle rapper Iron Solomon for a minute. So I just wanted to say good shit on that. And I'ma still talk trash when I feel, but yeah, I like what you're doing, man. All right,
Appreciate
that's
it,
all I
man.
got.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Sib.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, man. But I do want to give out shirts again, man, because I feel like it's a representation of us. Also, like free publicity too. You had a fight, you got a boxing
Yeah.
voice shirt. You know what I mean? It's just that mailing thing is crazy. Enrique kind of figured it out. He found a spot where he could do a $10 unlimited. So he's testing it out with his 2 for $30 shirts, which are now 2 for $40 because y'all paying for shipping. But yeah, we'll see how that works out with Enrique first, and then I obviously want to do that as well.
Mine's is on their way.
What, your shirt, or you already ordered
Yeah.
yours?
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
my. I already ordered mine.
this is actually an Enrique one. This is Border
I knew
Wars
it.
Border
Yeah.
Wars winner only though. Yeah, these are the shirt you bought. He stole my letters. I need royalties. These are my letters, but it's all good.
I
but
like
you got,
those winter
you
shirts,
got,
man. They turned out real nice.
yeah, you
They're
gotta be
dope.
you gotta be a winner to wear this shirt. You know what I mean? So
Yo, that shit was crazy. Everybody that won on Border Wars had a special shirt.
bro, and let me tell you, people
that's
want
dope.
Border Wars shows. Like yesterday, I was in the bed just thinking, and I couldn't come up with like a true concept for a Border Wars show unless we go back and rewatch. But people are starving for Border Wars content. I just feel like COVID has us shut down. They have us shut
Yeah.
down, with anything that could come from a Border Wars. But I would love to do Border Wars or an appreciation night. I think it's definitely time. But let me get out to Colorado. Ooh, I was about to go to Colorado. We got to go to Stainless real quick. I'm telling you, this alphabetical order thing. Stainless in Detroit.
Explain. Red belt, black belt, WO and green. I'm king. Undisputed GOAT, TBE. And you can catch the news first on TBV. Voice of the people now let me speak. Scientists of the sweet, BOXING.
Yo, what up, TBV?
What up?
What up, Stainless?
Cheers.
Man, fresh up on that White Walker. I don't even know. I'm like Majid, man. I don't really know what's going on. If I jump on here and people messaging and I see join call, I just join the call. So here I am, man. So you can go and skip me, man. Push that thumbs up, people. Peace.
All right. Well, let me get out to Stone Bone in Colorado.
Yo, peace. How y'all doing, man? How y'all doing this
All
beautiful?
good, brother. How are you?
Oh, man. Blessed, man. Ramadan Mubarak to all my Muslims out there, man. I hope y'all feeling better and better as these days start to get long and you're feeling thirsty, man, and you can't drink nothing. But thank you for the boxing voice for feeding my appetite, man. I can't eat nothing and drink, but I got my boxing fix in. So, hey, I appreciate when you get people who I don't really care if he picked Earl versus Bud. I don't really care because I appreciate you for who you are. He's standing beside Jay Prince. He represents Texas. You better represent for Earl. And just to be able to stand next to Jay Prince, be offered, like he said, Jay Prince done been to his house. Not just he went to, I mean, it's different when somebody, they come to your house, I mean, and he's been invited to his house. So I would have skipped the island too, man. He might would have got killed out there, man. He could have been, got vanilla iced or something out there, man. Got tied up, fed to the hogs, man. Jay Prince could have took all everything. So he better avoid going to the private islands, man. You don't know what's going on. You making
Yo,
you make
hey
noise. You think
Stone Bone, I think
congratulations.
it's cause I'm Caribbean. You know, like obviously I was born here, but I'm Dominican by blood. Like I go back to the island. Like that's the life I love. I go to Jamaica, PR, and DR. Like that's what I love, the Caribbean. So it's like when he said Belize, that's the place I've been Googling for years. Trying
That's
to
British
find
Honduras right
I'm
there.
trying to find financially how to make that make sense. Then you tell me James Prince. Then you
Ugh.
say a private island off of the coast
Hey
of.
Nat,
Oh man, I would have made it
hey dude,
happen,
hey,
bro.
what you would have what I'd have just been honest with him, like, hey man, I want to come, I just don't got the bread.
Listen,
Like I got
I'll be honest with you, if I wouldn't have done that, I would have just applied for a new credit card. There's no way.
credit card.
There's
Yeah,
no way I would have missed that trip. I don't care. I wouldn't have missed that trip.
man. But I just think like, man, we gotta appreciate even if you be wanting to hear more callers sometime, but you got to understand what these interviews do give you. It give you an insight and a mindset and things that you just don't even know. You always think that it's what you see, and then you
Exactly.
realize 10 things behind the scene that led up to that event happening. You know what I mean, I've been scanning them online. That's on my next cop list on the book list. You know what I mean, so man, just keep understanding what you're hearing sometimes, man. Just know like you need to hear all these angles. This is the boxing voice, not in the ring voice. I mean, boxing is a whole game. There's promotion, there's management, there's entertainment, there's everything that's involved. There, even when we do some of the gossip shit when we was talking about Mayweather's daughter, it's boxing, man. So we gotta appreciate. Ain't no fights happening. So you gotta appreciate when men of that statue, of that ilk, take their time to talk to us, to answer our questions. Dudes who sitting down with Jay Prince is answering boxing voice questions of guys who riding in the truck right now, guys who sitting in their house smoking weed right now. So, man, just keep it up, man, and we're gonna be
And
back on
giving
it.
giving solid advice too, man. I'm telling you, this dude let me pick his brain for 3 hours and 20 minutes, bro. Like, you know, and
To our benefit. You know what I mean? To the boxing boys' benefit. So shout out to him, man. If y'all got a couple dollars, man, y'all bored in the house, read a book, man. It expands your mind, man. So I'll catch y'all on the next one, bro.
all right, Stone Bone, man. Thanks for calling in. Great call, great call. Nah, man. Um, Yeah, I'm happy. I know everybody doesn't love the interviews, man, but we've always done that, man. And my motto has always been from the very beginning, big, little, small, interview them all. The problem is we lost Monsterpiece. You know, we had so many great people along the way. Some of you probably don't even remember Monsterpiece. She's a Dominican girl from a woman from New York City. She was with us for Triple G Vanez, I think, was it for that time that Chivas hired us? Was it?
Yeah. Shout
She
out to
was there.
Masterpiece.
Yo,
Man.
she was like she does what I do now, you know, which I never wanted to do this because I feel like it ruins the interview, but you know, whatever. You know, booking, getting the person on the phone, all that stuff, staying in contact with them.
Damn,
Yo,
I forgot you used to do that.
yeah.
Yo, she did.
No, and she took it
And
next
so
level.
did yo, shout out to man, what was her name? She was from
Oh
New
my
York
God,
too.
Gina. She was from
Gina,
Texas.
yes.
Yo,
Gina.
no disrespect to nobody, but she was the truth.
She
Was
was.
the truth. Let me tell you, Monsterpiece was more of a voice. She would call in. She had an intro. You know, she knew her boxing. I miss her. But Gina was really good. She knew a lot of people. But you know, so there's no disrespect to Monster because I believe she even like trained Monsterpiece on the way out. You know, she didn't want to leave us hanging. But yeah, Gina was good. Yo, we had so many. Listen, man, listen. If we would have been blessed with some like Adrian said, he had a football player who's rich come to him and say, yo, what you need? And he just blurted out 150. And that's why I keep relating to the dude because I couldn't tell you what I need to take us next level. I could only tell you the amount of fantastic employees that we hadn't had throughout the years. That if we would have had the money to keep them, we would be the ESPN of boxing. Just boxing though. But we had people, man. We had people like, listen, even Jackie was real good. You know, she had deep rooted knowledge because of her father, but She was not thick-skinned enough. Vic was good, but I never really got the. I mean, I hope this doesn't come off wrong. Like, I just never really got the gel with me because this internet always sucked. Like,
Yeah.
and I have resentment towards people that couldn't invest in themselves and us. Like, damn, dog, get some better internet. Like, I don't know where you live. Your internet was he had dial up, bruh. And but he was definitely obviously good. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. He ended up going with boxing scene. Look, yo, you think about it. I hope that gives you inspiration. You know what I mean? Like, look at Steve Kim.
Yeah.
Look at Steve Kim. He's on ESPN right now. People, the water coolers are saying he took Rayfield's job.
Yeah.
Like, I met
Started out Max Boxing.
I met Steve
crazy.
Kim, and I didn't find him like that. See, I was a truck driver like my J Max and JTs, NOs, Super Maxes. So I needed audio to consume on that highway. Again, God bless me, right out of truck driving school. I had a local job. I thought I was gonna go on the road. I got that local job, and I ain't had to touch nothing. All I did was park, B. And they would sometimes some of them stops would be 2 hours. I would be right there doing interviews with Bob Arum in my cabin to make sure the truck off though, so you didn't get no background noise. I was always an audio snob. But yeah, so I found Steve Kim through his show, and it was all that was out there at the time. You know what I mean? And then I found others like Rope-A-Dope Radio. He's still doing. I actually talked to Chris Carlson, the host of Rope-A-Dope Radio, not too long ago, man. Like literally like 3 or 4 days ago. I listened to one of his latest episodes. I was up very early in the morning, and I checked out one of his latest episodes. And he's so good at what he does, bro. But another guy that just hasn't cared about the audio, bro. I feel like he's still using headphones, like iPhone headphones, to talk into. And he's so nice on the mic. I can't remember the last name of that episode, man. It was good though. You know why I think he's so good? Because he does it absolutely alone, and he can go for hours and keep you entertained, in my opinion. But let me go down to my Jimbe. What's up?
What's going on, guys? How's everything?
All good, all good.
Chill. Yo, just here feeling myself. I keep getting everybody saying that those questions I ask are good questions. I got Adrian to say that, Bob, and Jose Ramirez. So next thing you know, next I'm going to take your job.
Nah, bro. Where you at? Where you at? What city you in, or rather state?
I'm in Edison. I'm right next to you.
You're in Jersey. You're in Jersey. Oh, damn, then you really should do it because we like right there. You're like exit 9. You're like 3 exits away.
Well, no, exit 11 on the Turnpike, exit 32 on the Parkway.
You said where you at? Edison?
Edison, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely... It's not 9 on the Turnpike?
No, it's 11.
That's New Brunswick.
Oh, New Brunswick. All right. My bad.
Yeah,
man. Nah, listen, bro. If you want to cover fights, you want all them New York fights, you could be our New York guy, but that's a ride for you. That's a ride. You're going to have to leave an hour and a half early just to get to Barclays Center.
I work from home about like 4 days out of the week. I only go out once.
Damn, you live my life. I never go out. My dogs be looking at me like, can we leave now?
Yeah, I know that feeling. But no, I just wanted to say, keep doing the great work. Definitely copping that book with the TBV Amazon link.
Nah, I don't. Yeah. You can use our Amazon link, but I don't have we didn't ask for a kickback code, but you can use our Amazon link at ThaBoxingVoice.com/affiliate sponsors. There's going to be an Amazon link there. You're right. Damn, you're so smart. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, man. Nah, man. Damn, you brought me back with Monster and that Nicki Minaj intro.
Yeah, I think I still got that around here, bro. I might have just deleted it to make room, but I had it there. It's purple. Let me see. Where is it? Ah, man. Yeah, I think I got rid of it. Sheesh. I be
Yeah.
moving a lot out, man.
No, man. Well, that's about it. Have a great weekend.
Oh, there it goes. I
Well,
found it. I found it.
yo,
I'm a motherfucking monster!
Yeah, I miss Monster Peace, man.
Yo, the fight tonight is 10 p.m. Eastern, correct?
On ESPN, right?
Yeah, that's the
Yes,
opening
sir.
card.
Yo.
11 a.m. is the main event.
Oh my God, yo!
11 p.m. is the main event.
Listen. Positive energy for these people, okay? Because you know all eyes are gonna be on it right now. Look how thirsty we are. We about to go watch a club show. Imagine the authorities, the powers that be, you know, that really want boxing back. This is the example. So we gotta hope that they don't fuck up. Because I remember last time, in my time watching boxing and covering it, we had like a riot break out in Nicaragua like 5 fights ago, right? I mean, 5 years ago, right?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
They was throwing chairs and all type of shit. I think that was
threw,
Nicaragua.
Like,
I don't
half
want
the front row in there.
I don't wanna, you know, get anybody mad at me because of their country, but I think it was Nicaragua. Like it got
Pretty
ugly
sure it
too.
was.
It got ugly, so you know.
Pretty sure. Yo, and you seen UFC is going ahead with that card for next Saturday. And then they got 3 more scheduled. They got one on the 13th and one on the 16th, if I'm not mistaken. It's right in there. They got like 3 cards in May, like almost back to back. So, you know, they're trying. People are trying. We'll see what happens.
Ness, what was that small show you was talking about when they was throwing chairs? Was that in DR with Curtis Stevens?
No, that's another one too. I heard something happened with Curtis and but the Nicaragua was big, bro. Big.
Oh, like
big.
stadium big.
No, like
soccer stadium?
No, big like whatever arena, let's say it was 4,000. Everybody was involved though. It got crazy.
Shit.
It got crazy. I think it was over the decision. Maybe the trainer started, then everything it was crazy. I wish, you know, I don't know.
There was
like
1,000
soccer fan type atmosphere, bro. They go nuts.
Yo, if there was 1,000 fans, then like at least 500 chairs were in the ring. Like they just throwing chairs, bro, like nothing. It was crazy.
Yo, shout out Big Super Max saying that TBV helping him get through this long ass day, man. We appreciate it. Getty, I'm gonna double back to you, and from now on, I'm gonna make you last, even though you first because of that G. We're gonna go last because every time we go to you, you're never ready. Because you might be working, which is okay, but I'm just letting you know I'm going to switch the order from now on.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt, man. It's all love.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It's all love today, man. I don't got too much. I got to catch it on the playback.
All right, champ. Well, thanks again. All right, so that's everybody, ladies and gents. We're going to go ahead and cut up out of here. Listen, I was desperate yesterday. I'm like, I realized I am a fiend. I was on the computer on every boxing website I could find, trying to find something to talk about. Like I literally wanted to do a show yesterday.
A sparring match, something.
I wanted to talk about something, but I couldn't find anything relevant, man. That being said, send us topic ideas on the community page on patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. It's absolutely free to do. So if you're listening to this, I think it's free. I think you don't have to be a patron to be on the community page. But if you do, unfortunately, but you can do that even with $3. You can buy one, not us. I guess you can buy Doomy 1 cup of coffee with $3, and then you can send us a topic suggestion on the community page if it's not free. I think it should be free, but maybe makes sense that it isn't free. How could you be part of a community that you don't even want to sign up to? But yeah. Oh shit, we got Dominic. Speaking of community, did you get your shirt? Did he get his shirt? Did he get his shirt? And does it fit? Does it fit, Dominic? Let's go on out to Minnesota. No, it's Seattle, Washington.
Mr. PBC, baby. BoxingVoice.com. I'm the flyest. Canelo talking about he believe he can win. Go to my kitchen. Get the sharpest knife. And cut the bullshit out. I don't care what you do good. I do every fucking thing great. Mr. PBC, baby.
Yo, what's good, Ness? Mario,
Oh, I hear you
everybody.
talking with a smile. That means you wearing your shirt.
Nah, bro, but I'm the poster child of this mess you done made, mess.
What you mean, mess?
every time I hear you talking about this sort of stuff, I feel like, damn, I'm just a poster child. But no, I haven't got it yet. I have a little problems going on with my mail.
What?
Ever since this.
Dog, don't
Yeah,
tell
because
me
people
I
are breaking
finally
in.
send your shirt and you don't get it, cause you heard his
No.
boy.
Here what happened. People are breaking into mailboxes. Because I have my mail sent to my family apartment building, and people been breaking in, man. So you lucky, man.
Yo,
I'm gonna let you
and
slide on this one.
listen, my girl even said like, yo, you sure this is it? Cause it's like 9. I ain't gonna say no more. And I'm like, nah, that's what he sent. This is it. Come on, champ, you wildin', yo.
Yeah.
That's a Patreon only shirt, though. And not only I could call it vintage. I could call honestly,
Hey,
I
man,
could
I'm
call that
pissed.
shirt vintage because I had them made over 18 months ago. So that's a vintage
Now
Patreon only
there's
shirt.
like a security thing going on with like the mailman don't even want to put mail in the mailboxes nowadays. You've been knocking the mailboxes down. Like I don't know who's doing it, but
Amazon
I gotta
thieves.
watch out.
Damn, champ.
But yeah, man, that was a beautiful interview, and I'm definitely gonna follow this dude on every platform. I do like his message, and I do like how he presented that Al Heyman is what his plan in life was built on. He's not trying to get on Al Heyman's back coattails or something like that. That I like that when someone's like, "No, I'm trying to do something else," and be the second version of Al Heyman. You know what I mean? So not the second
I
version,
hear
but
that,
someone
man.
who's
I
doing it
mean, me
just
and
like.
him butted heads on that. On a personal conversation because, like, yo, there's nothing wrong with lily pads, man. And lily pads are spots that frogs jump on to move across the pond. You know what I mean? So you could
Yeah.
the same way he's soaking in with James. Like, imagine if you got 2 mentors. Why can't you have 2 mentors? You know what I'm saying? And that's all I was saying. I ain't saying you got to work with Al. I'm saying, dog, why didn't you even talk to Al? Like, you were there with him 2 times. Why you ain't even sit down? Like, at the end of the day, Al's an advisor / manager. So it's like, yo, some conversations with him would go a long way. In my opinion.
Yeah. Well, help goes along. It's pretty hard in the black community, but some people like to do it on their own. But that's my call.
All right. Nah, listen, Carlito, man, we gonna make something happen, bro. We gonna make something happen. We gotta get these numbers moving, and we're gonna make something happen. We're gonna obviously go back to sending the shirts. These guys are gonna have to step it up and help me because obviously Patreon is how we all eating. So ain't nobody.
I said that. Where the A side? Where the A side?
Ain't nobody the A side. It's a team thing. So we will try and find a way to implement these shirts again. I know everybody wants a shirt. Now they're hearing that I'm sending shirts out. Everybody wants a shirt. We're going to try and find a way to implement these shirts at least in the next 30 to 60 days. All right? Give us some time. We got to get these numbers up. And when I mean numbers, I mean Patreon numbers. The actual amount of people that are here on Patreon. So I do want to ring the bell. Because I believe that's 3 more, right? Did I say 307 yesterday or 308?
306 or no?
Yeah, you said 306.
Well, then we got 4. We had 310, man. And like I said, it's gonna be a slow grind, but sooner or later, with the 7 days later, they gonna understand that we still podcast gold, man. It's nothing conceited. We just really good at what we do, and we gel well together, and we still getting fantastic guests. And guys like Bob Arum are breaking great news. Guys like Keith Thurman are saying the things that make Crawford and his whole team want to listen. And guys like Adrian Clark are showing, people across the world that, all you have to do is have ambition and be ready to hustle and be savvy, and you can do big things in boxing. And we're glad that we're bringing you guys those interviews. We're glad you guys are listening to them with us and rocking out with us. Appreciate each and every one of you guys, truly. That is my outro. NestGTO, Instagram and Twitter. Catch us on the next one. We are definitely developing a lot of stuff in the background. Wednesday is going to come pretty soon, and Wednesday will be a free show on YouTube. Hopefully the main channel.
And you catch me on IG, Alex_Doomsday_LAINEZ. On Twitter, AlexLinusTBV. And definitely shout out again to AC for coming on and talking about the book and explaining to us how important it is to be informed in a sport that demands so much from the individual. So thank you again. And it was freaking so cool chopping it up with you guys. Marioski.
Yo, you can catch me at Mario Munguia on Twitter, at Mario Munguia on Instagram. Catch us tomorrow evening for the evening flagship Sunday show. And yeah, I'm just gonna sit back and I'm gonna keep hoping that we get guys that will come on Skype because I just loved it. I loved last Friday with Keith, and I loved
Guess what I'm working
AC
on?
coming on. Yeah, man, it's awesome. So I'm just gonna keep praying on it, and hopefully we get more guys willing to do that.
Guess what? Guess I'm working on.
Which one?
2 actually. This WhatsApp notification just reminded me. I got Eddie Reynoso's information.
Oh yeah, I remember you said that.
Oh shit.
Yep. Shout out to Mauricio Suleiman hooking it up. And I got in contact with Jack Reese. So we're just working out of time with Jack Reese.
Perfect.
So we're gonna have some good interviews, man. I believe me, before you ask, I always want to get Steve Willis. He listens to the show. He's just not an interview guy. He's not, I'll try, but
Yeah, Steve has got to be the best thing since Judge Bill Lanes.
shout out to Steve because he doesn't do interviews, but he did attend and accept our invitation that time, 2017's TBV Appreciation Night. He was there, and he's one of the most iconic refs out there, in my opinion. Iconic meaning like the popularity, like
Judge Mills, Judge Mills was popping.
Yeah.
Let's get it on.
He had his own video game, right?
Yeah,
Fuck
Judge
it.
Mills.
He
was
was
a
it?
judge.
Celebrity Deathmatch?
Bro.
He was on
Oh,
that?
that's right. Celebrity
Bro, he
Deathmatch.
also had Judge Mill Lane on TV, for so many years. Like that's where he ended his career as a judge.
It was like, yo, I got a judge reffing my fight like that. That's
Yo,
crazy.
Doomy got the whole chat making names up for people. Everybody is like, example, Mario, I got bars, Munguia. They over here like, yo, somebody said, what 704 said? Oh, look, they said, Mario, I'm going to play with my mustache, Munguia. No, I'm going to play with my mustache the whole show, Munguia.
Yo, is it the chat be really lit, bro? It's fun out here. It's fun out here. And it's like, questions be coming out here. Yo, shout out again to the TBB chat kings.
Yo, quick information. Shout out to Steve in Chicago that says tonight's fights are available only on ESPN Deportes. So it's going to be Spanish broadcast. Just turn it down. It's all good. I mean, we need to figure that out. Maybe we should do a live fight chat for that one. We ain't seen boxing a match because you never know what's going to happen in a third world country. Let's be real. What's the exchange rate for Nicaragua?
Oh, man, if it's anything like Honduras, Central America, Nicaragua, all that's kind of together. We call it the triangle.
This show ain't going to stop.
$18 probably is the last time I would know that was the exchange, but who knows? Like, you could definitely get your money's worth if you go into Central America. Definitely.
I'm doing the Google. Oh, wow. $1. What? 30 cents is $1. Damn, so that's 3 for 1. All right. That's not bad. That's way better than my country, DR. My parents' country is DR, and it's like freaking $52 to the $1 American dollar.
Yo, check Honduras for me real quick, yo. I thought it was 18.
You don't know how to Google, man. I don't even know how to spell Honduras. I'm gonna look up hungry. Honduras.
Man, you get a nice exchange, man. Yo, and for y'all don't know, Honduras,
40 cent. Every 40 cent is $1 over there. That's not good, bro. Yeah, that's why I tell y'all, man. TBV Appreciation Night, Dominican Republic, so you could ball like you never balled, man. If you seen A$AP Rocky, which I never seen until the other day that we did that show, if you see his video, you already know what it is. if you seen 6ix9ine's video, you already know what it is. Like, yo, TBV appreciation I in DR, and here's the. Let me get my drum roll, because this is what I'm saying. Those other countries, they can't fuck with us. Mario, take a guess. Even though I did the drum roll, take a guess. For every American. No.
You probably got 18.
Forget what. For every American dollar, for every Dominican dollar, how much you think is how many dollars is the American?
I'm gonna say 250.
Nah, 18 cent.
What?
Wow. That's like a quarter, less than a quarter, bro.
Yeah, 1 peso.
Oh, my bad. I did that the opposite. I'm an idiot.
You exchanged it the wrong way.
Yeah, I exchanged it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy.
That's good money. It's like you could do so much, man.
I know.
See,
I
look.
know. Man.
$1 is 54 pesos and 19 cents. And that's listen, you could that look, if that's the exchange rate Google's giving you, that mean the black market, you probably get like 58 pesos. Know what I'm saying? Then you go get the jumbo, which is the big beer, frozen. Listen, you ever seen commercials on Corona? I know that's fake, but that ain't fake in my country, where the beer is frosted. The bottle is frosted.
But
it's looking
y'all
like
went through
Jack Frost touched it.
Y'all went through that little scare where you had people shook going down
when
the
people was
drink
dying.
that liquor that turned
Yeah,
the glass.
but don't try to throw that on DR. Don't try to throw that on DR. That came from Costa Rica. It was way more deaths in Costa Rica. Like everybody, all those little Caribbean islands got hit up with fake liquor. Like somebody, listen, back in the Prohibition days, man, people was cutting it and they fucked it up. That ain't got nothing to do with us.
It's crazy because it really did fuck up the tourist economy for like a little bit there. It affected it.
Listen, world's so small. Me and my girl just checked out of there, and then people start reporting. Actually, I think, babe, right? Maybe one might have. We already had one report when we had checked in or just checked out. Nah,
because when I went, I never had a problem with
from
liquor.
that hotel. Yeah, but I ain't worrying about all that. I'm worried about Corona. Once Corona died down, man, I'm trying to get on a plane. All right, I miss my vacation. I miss my beaches and my rivers. I miss Jamaica, man. I'm ready to go back to Jamaica, man. I'm ready. That's what I hate about Colorado. It's too cold. But I could talk forever. I'm out. Next GT on Instagram, Twitter. Peace.
Cheers.
I'm a talker, man.